Tokusatsu, taking the form of many shows including Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, and Metal Heroes. And today, a group of fans come together to review it for you as Toku Secrets.
Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Toku Secrets podcast presented by AnimeSecrets.org. I'm your host, Nathan Desa, and today we're going to be taking a break from our Gokai treasure hunt, and we're actually going to be taking a break from Super Sentai in general to go back to the series that we've come to know and love here in America and sometimes hate, Power Rangers. We're going to be taking a look at the series that has just concluded, although we are going to have a second season of the show because that's how Power Rangers works right now, next year. Power Rangers Dino Fury. And I got some guys here to join me, so if you guys will all please state your name and just all that good stuff, go right ahead.
So, I'm Rizwan. You guys know me. And I'm joined by other people.
Hi, I'm Frank. You've never seen a single episode of this show.
Yeah, we got a guy here along for the ride, guys.
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, that's what I'll tell you.
What do you mean get fined?
And you're also joined by me, Anthony Davis, aka the Green Ranger. You know, that's my title. I'm sticking to it.
Okay, Tommy.
That was such a long-winded character intro. Oh my god.
It wasn't that long.
So, real quick before Nathan begins the rant-ops section, this episode is recorded after our next 3 Gokaiser episodes that will be coming up on here later on. But we're going to cut the line and put this one after Gokai Part 1 on our podcast feed. So, if in the later episodes of this, when you're hearing about Gokaiser and you don't hear a mention of this happening, that's why. It didn't happen when we recorded those.
Oh, you guys are time traveling. Wow.
Yep.
Look, man, I need to get my quantum morpher and I gotta go fight crime, okay?
I was thinking the quantum realm from Endgame, but that works too.
I'm staying somewhat on track on the franchise here.
I'm into the future.
All right.
Another thing is, we were recently we had some technical difficulties on iTunes. Apparently, this was actually just brought to our attention just before we started recording this. Apparently, I don't know if there was like a bug or some technical or some other issue, but apparently we were kicked off of iTunes. But luckily, Riz has fixed that, so we should be back on iTunes soon. Is that
we're
accurate,
back on
Riz?
iTunes now.
Okay.
Yeah, we just had a little glitch with our podcast feed. I don't know, some glitch happened and it kicked us off, but I went back and fixed it. So now we're back on iTunes where y'all can find us. You can listen to us. It'll be fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Who has the echo?
Let me try.
I don't hear
is there echo on my end?
What about mine?
Echo.
Mine?
It's gone. Yeah, it's not there.
Oh.
We apologize for that technical difficulty.
Yeah, sorry guys. I just want to make sure that we kill the echo ahead of time.
Yep. But anyway, into the randomly assorted news of Tokusatsu, the Ranot section. It's been a pretty quiet week for Tokusatsu in terms of news. The 46th Sentai has already been revealed, so there's not really much else to talk about. But of course, the big thing that the big thing of the week is that, and this has already happened in Japan as of the recording of this video, the Gokaiger 10 years after movie was released. I actually, now there's no subs released of it, at least not yet, so obviously it'll probably be a while before before it comes, because unfortunately, unlike some anime movies like Demon Slayer and My Hero Academia, they don't release tokusatsu movies here in the States, which sucks.
Unfortunately.
But trust me, the minute we have our hands on reliable subs and we can watch it, you're gonna hear all about it because I can't wait.
This is how out of the loop I am.
Same.
The people that I've seen on Twitter that have seen the movie have all said, "Be ready to cry." And guys, I'm ready to cry. All right, I want to see how they're gonna break me.
I honestly didn't know there was a Gokai
Right.
reunion movie. My mind is kind of blown right now.
Dude, it's been 10 years.
Well,
Like,
there was
I don't know
some
if you know,
interesting.
Frankie.
No, go ahead, Riz. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, I don't know if you know, Frankie, but Gokaiser came out 10 years ago, so this is their 10-year anniversary reunion.
All right. This is just wow. All right. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Now, the big thing, there were some scans from the movie that I remember dropping earlier this week. In fact, very recently, that showed. It showed a lot of action photos from the movie. Now, of course, it shows Guy in gold mode because that's his thing. But the big thing is that the main 5 Gokaigers all appear to have some new toys. I actually sent a photo of this stuff to Riz and Anthony in a chat. But to kind of break it down for those people back home, so Marvelous appears to have a new armored form, which is modeled after the Gokai Galleon. So basically, Marvelous gets his own battleizer. Dawn has this big, double-barreled cannon-looking thing. Joe has a huge, 5-pronged claw weapon, and both Iam and Luca have these, these. I can't even tell. They either look like blaster things or these cannon things that are mounted to their legs. Well, at least that's what Iam's looks like. It's hard to tell what Luca's is. But yeah, the Gokaigers have some cool-looking new toys for this movie, especially Marvelous. So, yeah, I can't wait to see what those things look like. What do you guys?
Same.
I was very surprised because I didn't know they were going to have these armors until the screenshots came out. And I got to say, I like some of them. I'm still kind of getting my mind wrapped around the others. For example, I do like the Marvelous Gokai Galleon armor. I thought it looks pretty good. But I guess I need to see the others kind of more in action because I don't know. What do y'all think about Dawn's, for example?
I mean, it's just a really big cannon-looking weapon. I mean,
It just seems so out of place for that guy to have it.
No, I think it's in place because he always uses guns in combat, so
Yeah, I guess a big gun.
I think it makes sense. And Joe having a big claw makes sense because he likes to use his sword all the time. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I just looking at this right now, I can't tell how Luca and Iam's weapons would work. And like I said, there was nothing revealed about Guy. They just showed him in gold mode again. But Guy already has that, so I don't think you should give him anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other big thing is that apparently for this movie, they have taken Gokaiger's closing theme, which was called the Super Sentai Hero Getter, and they have expanded it to basically talk about, at least to my knowledge, and I'm pretty sure the song you can find it on YouTube now. They've expanded it to include all the Sentais, which is weird because they did expand it once when Go Busters came out. I guess because the Gokaigers did a big crossover with the Go Busters, so it makes sense to kind of expand it back then. But yeah, I guess now they've expanded it for 10 years more, so we're gonna go all the way to Zenkaiger probably. So yeah, I haven't listened to it yet, but sounds cool. I mean, I like Super Sentai Hero Getter, so
Yeah, I'm holding off on listening to it until the movie's in my hands, which has been kind of difficult given the internet, but I'm doing my best.
You got anything, Anthony?
Uh, like I said, I'm just looking forward to it. I'm liking some of the armors. It's just the ones for Luca and I'm just look kind of weird to me.
Right? Like, I don't know. I think when we see it, Anthony, it'll make more sense and it'll feel better. But right now, it just kind of looks out of place.
Yeah, just have to wait and see, I guess.
Yep. Well, all I can say is that whoever, all these companies that are doing the subtitles, get that movie as fast as you can and get it out for us. Do it
It
now.
needs to be in my hands today.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not in my hands yet? You're doing it wrong. Sorry.
Do it for the culture, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, aside from the Gokaiger 10 years after movie, there's nothing really big that's happened. Haven't heard anything about Kamen Rider either. And we already spoke about how Power Rangers is going to be released exclusively on Netflix. In the video that we recorded prior to the recording this one. During which I go on a pretty long rant. Both Wiz and I go on long rants about how terrible Nickelodeon has been to Power Rangers. So there's a little preview.
Oh boy.
There's a little preview
yeah.
for all you fans out there that want to hear that.
Yeah, I feel like Frank has something to say as well on that.
Hi, guys. You don't know me, but that's why I stopped watching Power Rangers because of Nickelodeon.
Oh boy.
Yeah. But luckily, Frankie, Hasbro has done a fantastic job for the most part with Dino Fury.
Oh, good.
Yep.
Like,
And I think that's a good transition, Nathan.
because I hated Samurai, I hated Megaforce, I hated Dino Charge, and I hated Ninja Steel. So
Oh, you like Dino Charge?
I liked the first half.
That's fair.
Okay, yeah.
I hated
That's
the
fair.
second half.
No, that's
Second half
fair.
was terrible.
I'll take that. Yeah.
The second half was
It's like-
awful.
Like, you ever seen that SpongeBob episode where, like, it's an older episode where, like, they'd be like, they give 3 cheers for for SpongeBob, but then they boo Squidward.
Hip hip.
Well,
Yeah, pretty
Whoa!
much.
so the 3 cheers are for SpongeBob. The 3 cheers are for Dino Charge Season 1, and the 3 boos are for Dino Charge Season 2.
That makes sense.
Pretty much. Yeah.
But anyway, speaking of dinosaur-themed Power Ranger seasons, we're going to be moving on to the main subject of this with Power Rangers Dino Fury, which is the 28th season of Power Rangers, and the 29th season also, because Season 2 is going to be coming out next year, exclusively on Netflix. It is based on the 43rd Super Sentai season, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing this because I probably am. Kishi Ryu Sentai Ryu Soldier, which, by the way,
actually pretty not bad.
Oh, okay. By the way,
Yep.
Anthony is the only one that's seen Ryu Soldier. I kind of I'll be honest. I've been in kind of a weird spot with like watching the current Sentais that are watching. Like, I watched Tokuger, then I was watching Ni Ninja for a while, but then because we started trying to review Ni Ninja, but then because of something that we're not going to mention because we don't want to give Rizwan PTSD, we stopped.
You already did.
Mm.
You already did.
Damn it.
The
Sorry,
PTSD
Riz.
is here, man. The lawnmower will haunt my life forever.
Oh,
I heard about that. Oh god,
Dude.
yeah,
I remember that.
I stopped watching after Ni Ninja. I tried I'm pretty. Ju-Ultra comes after Ninja, right?
Yeah, it's Ju-Ultra's after Ninja.
Yeah. I was watching
Yeah.
Ju-Ultra for a while, but then I just kind of got a little too far behind, and then after that, it's just like I didn't even bother catching up. Plus, I was in a weird area where I didn't even watch Sentai for a while, and now I'm.
My thing about Ryu's Soldier was I was tired of the dinosaur theme.
Yeah, I think everybody was.
You had Geo Ranger already, and then you had Abba Ranger, and then you had Kyoryuger. And I remember when that was announced, it was supposed to be dragons, was the teaser.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, it was
I wanted
dinosaurs
dragons.
again. Because they had the knight theme. It was like, all right, knights are cool, and knights versus dragons. That makes sense. And then all of a sudden,
Yes.
I'm trying so hard not to curse right now, but it was dinosaurs.
Yeah, I just, to me, and I think I said this in multiple podcasts in the last month or two, give me a good Night Sentai. Like, I don't know if I mentioned it on a podcast or not, but I want Mystic Knights to turn in Ogue. In
Sentai form, yeah, that would have been
exactly.
Because if they had the Knights and Dragons theme, that would have been perfect. But no, dinosaurs.
If I had to guess why, maybe they were just trying to play it safe because Ryu's Soldier came after two Sentais that were a huge departure from what we normally see because we had
Q Ranger, then Loop versus Pat, right?
Yeah, we had Q Ranger, which had like a billion Rangers, and it was a space theme, which, funnily enough, we had never seen in Sentai at that point.
It was cool. I like the space theme, but I heard the show was terrible.
Yeah,
It was not great. They barely went. They were barely in space, and like they were on Earth most majority of the time.
I didn't think it was that bad. I thought people liked it.
I like some of it, but it kind of lost me after a while.
Yeah.
And they're adding too many Rangers too soon.
They had
sorry. No, you're good. They literally added what was it, 10 Rangers in less than 12 episodes.
They started with 9, didn't they?
Didn't they just have 5 in the first episode?
Yes, it was 3 at first, and then at the end of the episode it was 5. One more. They added 2 more in the second episode, and then they met another one, but he wasn't with them yet. And then had the ninth one showed up, and then that was it. And that was it for a while. Then they had another one, and another one after that.
And another.
Then they did Lupin versus Pad, which was very different from what we normally see in Sentai. And the funny thing is that I hear, just based on opinions that I see, people liked Lupin versus Pat, but it wasn't really good as far as the toys were concerned. So, Toei really wanted a big one that's going to sell toys. So they thought, well, hey, dinosaurs always sell good toys, so let's just play it safe. And it really feels weird because, aside from Ryu Soldier, Sentai has been trying some new stuff. I mean, because after Ryu Soldier, we had Kira Major, which was themed after gems. I hear some good things about that Sentai.
I heard the sales for that were terrible.
Oh.
I heard the sales were horrible.
But the plot and the show were really good.
I heard the show was good, but it sold like garbage.
Yeah. And now they're doing Zenkaiger, which
I like it so far.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I love Zenkaiger's. I love Zenkaiser's. I love Zenkaiser's design so much.
No, dude, Zenkaiser. I've watched a little bit now. I've watched 3 or 4 episodes, and I like it, dude. It's good.
Yeah,
it's weird to me that the main guy's white, but.
Well, okay, but that's a callback to a big one.
That's exactly what it is.
So I'm okay with that. I mean, look, and I don't know how it was in what's the name of it?
Jacka.
Alien Rangers, the Sentai counterpart.
Toku Ranger.
Toku Ranger.
I don't know if White was the leader there, but in Mighty Morphin, White was the leader, and that didn't seem weird at all.
But in Kaku Ranger, she was the leader, but Red was the focus character.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so he was always in the middle, regardless.
But the point is, like, we've had white leaders in the past, like white ranger leaders. I don't want to say white leaders; that sounds bad.
But he was I think he's the first one that was like front and center main character.
Yeah.
At least Sentai wise. I know Power Rangers you had Tommy, but
and like the way that they're doing Zenkaiger right now, it's going well. I mean, they're not like rushing into having every single ranger be in the first episode. Like in the first episode, you only had the first two. Then episode 3, you get the third guy, whatever. So I mean, they're gradually introducing characters. It's not like a big rush to introduce everything in one go.
I actually bought
Right.
I have the 2 Zenkaios in my closet.
Oh, that's cool.
And they're bringing back Sentai figure arts with Zen Kaiser, which is cool.
Oh yeah. That was someone we forgot to mention. But yeah, to get back, we kind of got off track, but that's fine because the point is overall, it looks like Sentai is actually trying some new stuff, but Ryu Soldier was kind of just a retread. But whatever.
So I'll be honest, I do like the designs. I like the suit designs for Ryu Soldier. I thought they were cool.
Oh, they're real badass suits. It's just the dinosaur thing is so overplayed right now.
Yeah.
I know.
But I will say, when we get to the story of Dino Fury, which I think we should do now,
Yep.
I greatly appreciate the attempts to kind of bring the Knights feel back to it.
This is my fault. I put us on a tangent.
It's the Taco Sentai Bib Drinker all over again.
Oh, jeez. It's all my fault, guys. I'll keep my mouth shut while you guys talk about the plot since I know nothing going on.
No. For the most part, we do have tangents in our podcast still, but not to this extreme. So
Oh, good.
I'm perfectly fine with that.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we're gonna. So we're just gonna review the whole thing and just give our overall thoughts. So we're not gonna go episode by episode. I'm just gonna give a brief overview of the story.
Yeah.
Okay, so pretty much to sum it all up, so 65 million years ago, there was a group of scientists on a planet called Rafcon that created an army of these monsters called Sporix to defend their planet. But unfortunately, because the Sporix are monsters, they went rogue and they started destroying Rafcon, and they basically wiped out the whole planet. And then they went to Earth to.
Gee, it's almost like someone could have told them that. Oh wait, they did. I'm sorry, Nathan. I had to say that.
That's cool. It's a good way to put that in. They basically killed everyone except the 6 Knights of Rafcon, who were defeated, but they survived, and then they chased the Sporix to Earth. When the Knights arrived on Earth, they were approached by people from the morphing grid called the Morphin Masters. Yes, that's what they're actually called, and we'll talk more about that later. They gave the 6 Knights Dino Fury morphers, which allowed them to become Dino Fury Power Rangers. They were able to turn dinosaurs into their Zords, and as the Dino Fury Power Rangers, they defeated the Sporix, although basically everyone except the Red Ranger, whose name is Zyto, supposedly at least, were all killed. The Red Ranger is based on a Tyrannosaurus Rex, by the way, because that's just how dinosaur-themed Power Ranger seasons work at this point.
It's so original. I'm so surprised we have a Tyrannosaurus Rex for the red. Are you guys surprised?
I thought he was a pterodactyl.
Well, there's 3 things guaranteed in life: death, taxes, and the Red Ranger being themed after a T-Rex in a Power Ranger season.
Wow, I am consider me surprised. I never saw that coming.
Yeah. Call me impressed.
Yeah.
The Red Ranger's name is Zyto. They defeated the Sporix and were able to put them back in their eggs, but they weren't able to destroy them. So he and his robotic dinosaur partner Solon sealed away the Sporix eggs into a case, and Zyto went into stasis in this underground base. Fast forward to the present day, and a mysterious villain who's like a ranger like purple villain named Void Knight. He arrives on Earth. He's looking for the Sporix. He infiltrates the base of the Dino Fury Rangers, which is located under area known as Dino Hinge, which is named because there's like 6 dinosaur statues, all of which are based off of the Zords of the 6 Rangers. He infiltrates their base, attempting to steal the Sporix, but unfortunately for him, he gets stopped by 2 normal people who just so happen to enter the base with him, which include a paranormal enthusiast and journalist named Amelia Jones, and a highly intelligent, tech savvy, and more of like a scientist type of dude who's also very skeptical of things, named Ollie Akana. The 2 end up accidentally awakening Zyto from his stasis, and they get Dino Fury morphers, which allows them to become Power Rangers. Amelia becomes the Pink Ranger, who's themed after an Ankylosaurus. And Ollie becomes the Blue Ranger, which is themed after a Triceratops. Because again, as we know, to be fair, Dino Charge didn't have a Triceratops themed Blue Ranger, so
3 out of the 4 Blue Rangers are Triceratops.
yeah. Okay, but at least it's not. At least we got a little bit of a variety.
A little bit, tiny bit.
Very tiny bit.
Tiny bit.
But unfortunately, the Sporix get released all over the world by Void Knight, and now Zyto, Amelia, and Ollie have to fight with Zyto to get the Sporix eggs before Void Knight does. And of course, along the way, a bunch of things happen. The 3 find a lot of discover many new Zords. The things that they use to activate their Morpher and give them power-ups known as Dino Keys, they discover a lot of those. Pretty soon they get a few new teammates, including Izzy Garcia, who's a really athletic, ambitious high school athlete. She becomes the Green Ranger, who's themed after a tiger. And also,
tiger, actually.
Oh yeah, saber-toothed tiger. So once again, it's more of like prehistoric creatures instead of dinosaurs, since but there was a saber-toothed tiger in G-Ranger too, so whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's probably why they casted a female to play as the Green Ranger instead of a male, because they wanted to do a callback to MMPR with Trini being, female, and she had the saber-tooth tiger.
Yeah.
And what's funny is that no, we'll get to that in a second about Izzy. And along with Izzy, we also have her free-spirited brother named Javi, who's aspiring musician. He becomes the Black Ranger, who's themed after a Stegosaurus.
The Black Ranger's different theme in every dinosaur season. The Black Ranger's always different.
Mm-hmm. A mammoth, a Brachiosaurus, a para whatever thing, and now a Stegosaurus.
Parasaur. It was a paras.
I don't know how to pronounce that. Parasaurolophus. I whatever.
Yeah.
The Parazord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then finally, a little bit later in the series, they encounter an easygoing and fun-loving guy named Ion, who turns out to be another Knight of Wrathcon who survived also, but when he was put in stasis, he was in a pod that was underwater. So Ion joins them. He is still the Gold Ranger, and he controls... Funny thing is, I thought he was themed after an alligator originally, but apparently there's a real-life dinosaur called a Mosasaurus, which is he's themed after.
Yeah.
That's real. It's a real thing.
So, yeah. And together, they all fight against Void Knight, who's going around. Oh, God. We'll talk more about that in a second. They go around fighting Void Knight and his who goes around with his own Sporix Beast partner. It's this dim-witted female one, although apparently she was male in the Sentai, according to Anthony. Her name is Mucus.
That's such a stupid name for a villain. Even if it's like a
Yeah.
Comedic villain? That's a bad name.
Remember the Loogies from Megaforce?
Yeah,
The
it's not that.
Loogies?
It's not that far off.
We don't talk about them, Frankie.
They were called BBs in Go Sager, so they didn't really have a much better name in the Sentai.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically the whole story. We don't want to, we'll go into more details, of course, but that's the basic plot of it.
That's the premise. Yeah.
So I just want to say this so like I said, I haven't seen Ryu Soldier, although I can tell just by watching how this show works that it's very different from how Ryu Soldier is. I mean,
Yeah,
even
I can definitely tell you that.
even the place where the villains are all meeting, that's clearly original footage. Like, it definitely doesn't look like it's like they're taking footage from Ryu Soldier.
But you know what,
Not
though?
at all.
I prefer when Power Rangers does its own thing rather than be a copy-paste of the Super Sentai.
Yeah.
Like, Samurai is exactly like Shinkenger.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's not always terrible to be a complete copy and paste from the Sentai to Rangers. I mean, Time Ranger and Time Force were a great adaptation.
That's the only time it worked.
Right.
Yeah.
Because Wild Force and Gal Ranger are the same, and Wild Force is so much worse than Gal Ranger.
I mean, okay, but that's not the fault of That's not the fault of the story. That's the fault of getting poor scripting for the actors to use. That's what I'm going to say about that.
And then Samurai is nowhere near as good as Shinkenger.
Not even by a mile. I can test to this.
Yeah.
Well, I can already tell that the villain dynamic is pretty different because, like, Anthony and I were talking about this earlier before we started recording. Apparently, in this one, Void Knight is the main villain, but apparently Void Knight was just like a side villain in Ryu Soldier, and obviously he wasn't called Void Knight in the Sentai, but.
I think it was Guy Sword, and what was cool about him was that I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all this right now. He was basically a suit of armor that would basically possess people and have basically because they become the armor basically. This happened in one of the actually wait, I'm trying to think.
Wait, a suit of armor that possesses people? Anthony, are you sure you're not talking about Zeltrax's counterpart from Abba Ranger?
Or Venom?
That is exactly what he was. Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. Wow, Ryu Soldier is so unoriginal that it's ripping off other Dino Sentais.
I thought he was agreeing with me about it being Venom, but okay.
Yeah, it because actually that was actually the main story in Psycho Battle. Because the two Ryu soldiers show up in that one, and they
And when you really think about it, I mean, the whole dynamic with Ryu Soldier is already kind of a ripoff of Kyoryuger, because think about it, the main 5 Rangers are red, blue, black, green, and pink, just like in Kyoryuger. The 6th Ranger is a Gold Ranger whose secondary color is blue, just like in Kyoryuger. Mm-hmm. And now you're telling me that this villain is a suit of armor that possesses multiple people, which is just like a certain character in Abba Ranger. I don't want to go into much detail because I don't want to spoil Abba Ranger for Riz when we eventually review that. But yeah, so it comes off to me like Ryu Soldier is ripping off better Dinosaur Sentai.
Pretty much.
Oh my!
And the story wasn't all that great either, because I can be able to remember what. I mean, they did really good job with the first couple of episodes, but like after a while, they just kind of like the real soldiers themselves weren't like people. It was like they were focused more on the people they were trying to save, as far as like just not focused on the characters themselves. Like the characters do not change at all.
Mhm. But as far as the story for this season goes, I'm in case for those of you that just want to like hear my opinion on it and then just kind of skip to see where these other guys are. I really enjoy this one. I I think the story is pretty creative with the Sporix. There's a lot of elements with the story that I really enjoy. I think the whole idea of the Sporix being like random monsters is pretty creative. One thing I like about the villains, and this was I got this vibe whenever I did watch Beast Morphers. I like how the villains aren't like some big organized force. Like there's a boss, and then there's like a bunch of generals. It's just like one guy and like this partner, and they're just like running around creating monsters. Like there's no big, intimidating looking base. I mean, their base is an abandoned shack in some dude's backyard. I mean, so I like how that villain works. It reminds me a lot of how Kamen Rider villains actually operate, where there's no like where there's no like one big boss, and then all these generals report him on like some ship that's like floating in space. So
Yeah,
I really enjoy that. But I'll talk more about the Ranger characters later because I'd like for Riz and Anthony to give their thoughts on this as well. But as far as the story goes, it's very creative.
So, on a whole, I think Dino Fury is a great story for Rangers. I like the Sporix. I like the villain. I'm going to talk a little bit about characters a little bit, not a lot, because I know Nathan wants to go into that in more detail one by one later. But I definitely like how they set up this character arc for Void Knight, and it's kind of left open ended at the end of season 1. And with season 2, we have a lot of questions to be asked about his main purpose for even doing all this. It's not some random, I want to rule the world. No, he has a real purpose. Like he's doing it for some personal reason that's important to him. I don't know if you'll want to go over that now, Nate, or you want to like just kind of wait. But
Yeah, we can.
okay, yeah. So basically, Void Knight, he's doing everything he's doing because his partner, I don't know if it's a wife or a girlfriend or whatever, but his significant other is in some kind of stasis tube, and he needs the Sporix energy to revitalize her. So
okay, Mr. Freeze.
Right?
basically.
It really
To
is.
me,
Frankie.
it's another thing that seems really reminiscent of a lot of Kamen Rider villains because there's at least one or two Kamen Rider seasons, and Anthony could probably back. I don't know, like with Ryuki and Wizard, even though Wizard is terrible, but that's beside the point.
Yeah, the Wizard was terrible.
Yeah, but like in a lot of Kamen Rider seasons, the main villain isn't always necessarily doing it just for world domination or anything. They have like a very selfish goal, one that may require them to like kill a bunch of people or endanger people, which is what ultimately makes them a villain. But you can still kind of sympathize with them on what they're trying to do. And like, you following me, Anthony? You think I'm I'm saying this good?
No, you're right on the money.
Yeah. But like they're not like their goals aren't necessarily evil. It's just the risks that they're willing to take in order to achieve that goal. That's what makes them evil because they're kind of apathetic toward that. And that's what makes me, really enjoy this villain dynamic because again, it reminds me a lot of, Kamen Rider villain dynamic.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy that.
And so Yeah, I thought it was really refreshing because in Beast Morphers, the thing that came before this, it was basically Vengex from RPM that was behind all of it, and he wanted it to get revenge and he wanted to rule the world. It was a very generic thing. It wasn't like some deep character development thing where he had to go on a journey or whatever, and he had like this end goal. Like, this is a generic villain that we all grew up knowing about from RPM.
I mean, it was cool they tied it back into a previous season, though.
It was really
Yeah.
cool to tie it back, but when you really look at the villain and his motivation, it just isn't there. And when you look back at even like Ninja Steel and the Megaforce stuff and Samurai and everything before that, Dinosaurs, it's generic. I want to rule the world.
Well, I mean,
Or I
to be
want
fair,
power
that's
to rule the world.
99% of Power Rangers villains.
Correct, but when you see
Yeah.
something like when you see departure like this from that idea to do something creative, you gotta give them credit for doing it.
Oh no, I agree with you, but
Right.
So I'm not
Definitely.
saying the general formula for we want a villain that's there to dominate the world and get power and all that stuff that's bad. I'm not saying it's bad at all because it's part of the tokusatsu formula and
The
part
only
of the
villain-
American trope anyway. But
The only other villain I can recall that maybe wasn't entirely motivated to take over the world, well, in this case, the universe, was Trakina from Lost Galaxy. Because yes, she wanted to rule over, but you could argue that, well, first of all, she wanted to kill the Rangers because they killed her father, but she was also doing it more because she wanted to live up to her father's standards. So you could argue that maybe she didn't want to do it because she was evil so much as she just wanted to do it to live up to her father's standards.
I
But
mean,
that's
Astronema was more brainwashed than actually evil.
yeah.
Yeah.
Trakina is the only other one that I can recall that wasn't truly motivated, like, "Muhaha, I'm evil, I want to rule the world," and all that.
I mean, Rancic wasn't either.
No, Ranzik. He's right, Ranzik.
Rancic was just kind of there. He just wanted like
Oh, he was a jerk, but
he was a jerk, but he was a petty criminal. He wasn't some
he also
overlord
he had
thing.
some redeemable qualities. He actually was a caring father and stuff. So
Exactly.
Yeah. hmm
But okay, you're talking about these examples. That was Time Force, that was Lost Galaxy, and that was in space. You're not listing anything after the Saban era, the first one.
that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, and all three of those seasons are, funnily enough, like some of the most beloved in Power Rangers lore. So
That's true. That's actually true.
Mhm.
So they did something right with those three, and I'm glad to see Dino Fury do that because look, I like Dino Fury a lot. It wasn't a crappy season like Ninja
Megaforce.
Steel. I actually think Ninja Steel's worse, but yeah.
Ooh.
Oh Lord.
It's tit for tat. They're just about the same.
Well, okay,
as far as,
Megaforce is definitely worse, but Super Megaforce is better than Ninja Steel to me.
Megaforce was just
You
such a
you think so?
Megaforce was just such a letdown.
It was well, okay. So when you say Megaforce, are you talking about the entirety of season 1 and 2, or are you just talking about Megaforce prior to the Gokai?
No, I'm just combining them into one series.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think the second half, it's still crappy, right? Like the way Megaforce was in season 2 with the Legendary War stuff, that was crappy. But it's a step above what we got with Ninja Steel.
Wow.
To me, and my reasoning is, we had very few like stupid tropes with the fart jokes and all this stuff that Nickelodeon loves. And we talk way more about that rant about what Nickelodeon did to the franchise in the Gokai Part 4. Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, did you guys do a Super Mega Force Gokaiger comparison? Oh no.
No. So in that episode we did a hey, Nickelodeon no longer has the rights to Power Rangers going forward. Netflix has it now, and we talk about how Nickelodeon destroyed a lot of the Power Ranger franchise in the process of having it.
Yeah.
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 So that was our rant we had in there. It was a really long rant, but I'm not going to go into that here. But I will say that I can respect Super Mega Force's attempt to try and fail, but I can't respect Ninja Steel at all, and that's partly because I can't respect Ninja at all. However, I will say I have a slight bit more interest, not interest, but amusement after seeing the Strongest Sentai Battle movie thing that came out.
Oh, that little miniseries?
Dude, Marvelous
Yeah,
wrecked.
Psycho Battle. Right?
Marvelous wrecked Ninja Red a couple of times, and I'm just like, I'm here for it.
I mean,
Yes.
Gokaiger is just better than Ninja. That's just...
It is.
No, but like he didn't wreck him in like combat. He wrecked him in just like, dude, you're a dumbass. Stop. And I put him in his place for a little bit.
I'm still iffy on why they decided, hey, like, we're gonna put all these classic Sentai Rangers together, and you chose him to be part of the team. Why?
We'll get to that when we get to that review,
He doesn't-
Anthony.
He doesn't deserve to be stand where he stands.
I have my thoughts on why, but we're gonna save that for the actual review of that movie because I do want to review that movie at some point. And Frankie, you should watch it.
I used to stay out of these podcasts. You guys go on way too many tangents.
Oh, we just
Anyway.
begun, man.
Okay, so back to the story stuff because I wasn't quite done there. Yeah, so I really enjoyed the villain's story arc in this. The other two things that I want to kind of touch on here, and this will kind of talk more about how the Dino Fury stuff was overall. So the second one's going to be more about the characters, and we
Yeah.
can talk a lot more about characters later, but I do want to say Izzy is best girl in all of franchise right now.
Pretty
Because
much.
she didn't take nobody's crap. First of all, she was a strong, independent character, and she don't need no man, literally,
Literally.
because she was
Okay.
because she is the first openly LGBTQ character to exist in the franchise.
No, she's not.
Who was the first?
Who was the
Trini
first?
from the movie.
Oh,
Trini from the movie was
They
gay.
didn't really do a good job of like showing us that because
Well, that movie was terrible.
I don't think I want to count the movie
was
as
alright.
part of this as
Yeah.
part of that statement.
See, but you said franchise.
Okay, but
And one thing I want to say about Izzy that I think was funny. So in Ryu's Soldier, her counterpart was male, which, funnily enough, I think this is the first time since Power Rangers Wild Force where we have a gender swap of a ranger, where the Power Rangers character is female, even though the Sentai was male. Because in Wild Force, Taylor, the Yellow Ranger, was female, even though it was a guy in Gow Ranger. But what's funny is that they give an explanation on why her suit doesn't have a skirt. When she first morphs, her suit has a skirt, and then she looks down and be like, "What is this? Get thing off of me!" And she rips it off.
I remember when that happened.
That
I
was
heard
awesome.
people ranting about it.
yeah,
bad
I'm
way?
like, bro, it wasn't that serious. Yes,
wait, Frankie, in a bad way? Why?
They were
I
mad.
don't know.
But it's awesome.
It's
Okay.
because, well, they've never acknowledged it before, so why acknowledge it now? Shut up. They're trying to give some explanation. Shut up.
Well, so I mean,
Yeah,
look,
because I know in when Zato's old team were Rangers, the Green Ranger of that team had a skirt because she was female, and they decided,
Yeah.
well, since she's also female, she decided, okay, let's give her a skirt too. But she said, I don't want a skirt, I'll just take it off, and that way the Morphin can be like, okay, she now acknowledges that she does not want a skirt, so when she morphs, she doesn't have it.
we're giving a lot of personification to the Morphin Grid in that statement, Anthony.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Izzy was best girl.
Oh.
Because the way they portrayed her. So something that we see a lot of in pop culture now is, we have the relationships out there, but then people focus on like, oh look, they're in love and they're women. They're kissing, they're lesbians, haha, whatever. But in this case, Izzy having a girlfriend wasn't a focus point. It was just that's her life, and they didn't like.
It's just matter of fact.
Right. It wasn't like an
Yeah.
expose like, hey, we're trying to be cool and edgy and bringing in like the new the new thing, you know, to be politically correct or whatever. It's more of a, no, that's just her character. She's like that. That's who she is. It's her life.
They don't shove it down your throat.
Precisely.
No.
She's just there, and it's in the background.
And to me, that's more organic because the LGBTQ. I'm saying the acronym wrong, and I apologize to everyone.
LGBTQ plus.
I can't say it. My mouth doesn't make those letters. Whatever. Anyway, so they're part of society. They're here. We got to accept them, but we don't have to be like pointing them out and like making a big deal out of it. They're here. They're part of us. They're not something to be gawked at. They're not something that's like, we got to make a main focus on it. So seeing such a streamlined, organic way to show her life and kind of say like, oh, hey, by the way, here's another part of her that makes her interesting without making it a big deal. I like that a lot.
Didn't Legend of Korra kind of do it the same way?
Yes, they did.
I didn't watch Legend of Korra. I heard about
But it was kind of the last minute, though. I kind of didn't really like how they
didn't it just kind of happen?
No, there's some build up to it. There's some build up to it.
It wasn't. I think it was good. I think it was good build up. I didn't hate the fact they were together. I hated the fact that they didn't do a good job of building up to where I'm like, okay, I can accept
It wasn't organic, but it also wasn't forced. Like it just kind of happened.
Yeah, that's my issue.
But also, again, that's not a huge problem. But also, we're not talking about Korra here, so I'm gonna stop.
No, except that, yeah.
Frankie.
I'm telling you, this is my fault.
This is also the first female Green Ranger, at least in the show. I mean, Sentai technically gave us a female Green Ranger in Q Ranger, but that's pretty cool.
I have before that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In the Ninja movie.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Green.
Sorry, I forgot.
Is this really the first female Green Ranger?
In Power Ranger?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
And
wow!
And she's the third in Sentai, I believe, if I'm counting correctly.
Well, the Ryuso Green was a guy.
No, Nathan said something in Q Ranger, I think.
Oh, Q Ranger,
right?
Yeah, Q Ranger had a green,
I think,
and then Ninja was before that. And they had a green add-on Ranger for like.
Wasn't she just a repaint of Aka Ninja?
So you can now officially make an all-girl Power Rangers Dream Team with all the colors. Like you have Lauren from Samurai as the Red Ranger. Obviously you got a bunch of pink and yellow Rangers to choose from.
Hang on, we got Zen from pink. We have Zen for the pink.
Yeah, obviously. Lauren for Samurai for Red.
That's the only female Red. Yep.
Tori for blue.
I know that we don't like this character, but we only got one choice for a sixth Ranger, and that's Gemma from RPM.
Oh yeah,
RPM Ranger.
I'm okay with that. That's fine.
I'm okay with it. I don't hate her as much as I hate Rangers.
I mean, unless you count the Nova Ranger.
Yeah.
No.
Or Cat Ranger.
Then we have Izzy for green, obviously, because we don't have any other choice. And then for yellow, it's just, I would pick Lily because she's my favorite Yellow Ranger, but you guys can pick whichever one you guys in that situation. But yeah.
For yellow, I would probably take
Yellow. Gia, because she's hot.
Hands off, buddy.
I think Tanya.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, Lily's my favorite, so I pick her. But
Yeah.
Well, look, G is the hottest. So
okay.
Down, boy. Keep your hands to yourself.
Point is that Izzy is my favorite Dino Fury Ranger. I just because when I'm watching the episodes with her, like even in the episodes where she doesn't do anything, she just kind of has a lot of personality. Maybe it's just with how great the actress is.
Yeah.
I love how she's very ambitious. She gets a lot of character episodes.
Well, she gets a lot of character episodes, but also the ones where she's not the focus. She doesn't have to be because her personality is kind of exuding out. Like
yeah,
in the background,
exactly.
you can see her. She's determined. You can see she's a living sibling to her brother. You can see in certain cases that hey, she's a dedicated athlete. She takes time to do stuff for her school and athletic life.
Well,
And
she's a little relatable because you can kind of tell that her dad is not exactly okay. He's not a terrible dad. I don't want to say that about him, but he's kind of a little too pushy, if you know what I mean. And
it's
Yeah.
overbearing, and it makes sense
yeah,
given I'm assuming that the mother either passed or left them or something. Because
Yeah. Apparently,
Javi is a
Javi.
stepbrother,
Yeah.
so
what do you think of Izzy, Anthony? Because you haven't said anything about
Oh, I like her. It's just that like there are some episodes where I'm just like I'm kind of annoyed by her, especially the episode where like she was doing that race and like was getting on her cousin about something. I'm just like, you didn't have to like be that upset about it. It makes you look entitled and look bratty, but that's just me. But other than that, she's fine.
it. She is in high school, so you can't expect her to be entirely selfless. I mean,
yeah.
she's still a
True. And she's
teenager.
actually the only she's the only one that's actually in high school because everybody else is an adult.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah, because Zato's an
Zeta is
Asian.
yeah.
Amelia and Javi both work for the news company, and Ollie is constantly helping his mom out with science stuff. So
So
plus
I assumed Javi was just homeschooled.
No.
I mean not
No.
Javi, Ollie, sorry.
maybe I mean
I assumed he was homeschooled, and I assumed that Amelia was an intern.
Nah, she's
maybe
not an intern. She
Am I
actually
just trying to
worked there.
force the idea that they're high school students because they're young?
well I don't know. I mean Izzy looks like she's young enough to be in high school, but
No, she is in high
like,
school. That's the thing.
yeah, I know, but
They do show Izzy in high school. Some of these
Yeah,
other Rangers don't go to high school.
you're right. They never go to school together. Wow.
No.
Okay, I never thought about that or noticed that. That's crazy.
Because I
Okay,
know in one of the episodes they go to her school. They go see her at while she's
right.
at school.
Yes, she walks out with her girlfriend, and yeah, they came to get her, but they're not like there for school. You're right. Mind
Hmm.
blown. Okay, carry on.
uh
Yep.
okay, so we just talked about Izzy. Let's move on to another character.
Let's talk about Zyto.
I was gonna pick one at random, but Zeta was fine.
That was my
Uh,
random pick.
Zeta was red for the people back home. I was telling Anthony this earlier. Zato is awesome. I'm just gonna say that. I don't want to put him in my top 10 Rangers just yet because we still have a second season to go through. But he's definitely in my top 15, and he's really fighting hard to get into the top 10. And I want to say he's the best Red Ranger I've seen since probably Casey from Jungle Fury. Um, just,
I would say So I would say yes, with the caveat that I also think that Tyler from Dinosaurs is a good red.
I like Tyler. I don't want to. And I even told Anthony this. I like Tyler, but I don't know if I would put him in my top 10. Like with Casey, I mean he's in my top 5 actually, but
Yeah.
But with Zyto, he really is making a statement on like being in the top 10 because these past couple of seasons we've had Red Rangers that it's like this rookie Red Ranger all over again, like fish out of water, and they just have this happy-go-lucky gung-ho personality, or in the case of Troy, just terrible
No
actor.
personality.
But, yeah,
Troy,
I
freaking Jaden, all of them just stone face
Jaden and Troy were
personalities.
not good characters. They had no personality. Tyler had great personality, but I think he just needed better story writing.
don't even get me started with
Brody was boring.
Yeah,
Even
I
with
need
the
to-
even with
For
the long
somebody
lost
who-
brother thing, that just felt kind of weird when he did
he
find his
had
brother.
a
It wasn't
good story set up for him, but they messed up and they didn't
Yeah.
follow through.
because him and his
Hey.
brother could have been a great story, but they've screwed it up because
Yes,
it just so okay. He finds out that the gold is his brother, but it's not like some great journey. It's just episode 7 or whatever. I don't know what episode number it was, but he's like, "Wait, you're my brother. What's up, bro? Long time no talk. Hug." And that's it. There's no like nothing else happens after that in regards to that until the father comes out.
this man was a prisoner on a alien spaceship for 10 years and
Yeah,
did not hold any resentment, any trust issues, like, oh, I want to be around people, or nothing. He was just, oh, I'm cool, whatever.
I'm
I'm
back.
free,
Yeah.
cool. Bye.
Now I need to see more of Beast Morphers in order for me to have an opinion on Devin. Although I did watch the first couple of
Devin
episodes.
was cool. The thing with
But he
Devin
didn't have
though,
much going on for him besides the whole thing with his dad and like video games. That was it.
exactly.
That was literally his character.
Been there,
I mean,
done
so
that.
if you ask me to explain Devin to you, Nate, Devin is a Red Ranger who loves martial arts and he's an avid video gamer. That's it.
Okay, I guess
That's
that's fine, but
And his dad's the mayor. And
His dad's the mayor,
That's
and he
it.
has the relationship he has with his dad. It's not quite the same as what Wes had with his dad in Time Force, but there's a lot of strain, just like how Wes and his dad had. But it wasn't the same strain, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Right.
what
His
I
dad
love
basically got
about
him by getting a job, basically.
what I
Yeah.
love about Zyto is that Zyto is everything that Jaden should have been in Samurai. He is not just the leader, and he's not just the red. He acts as a mentor to the other Rangers. He has all this wisdom and experience from the fight millions of years ago. Literally, in like the second episode, he's teaching Ollie and Amelia how to morph. He comes off as wise. He's a genuinely wise person, and instead of Jaden, who just spews all this like empty platitude, like, come on guys, teamwork, blah blah blah. Sorry, that came out really weird.
We can do this together while simultaneously doing things on his own.
Like, with Zyto, his actor is also really good, but I just feel like he really does a good job at like not only being a leader but also being an effective mentor. And I just feel like he's everything that Jaden should have been in Samurai, at least in my opinion. What'd you say, Anthony?
Oh no, what I was gonna say was that yeah, like Zato has his goofy moments too, but you don't actually like it's not bad because he's like, okay, well he has his moments, he can't be goofy at times, but that never like stops him from being like a good leader.
I mean, he has goofy moments, like when he like for example, there's an episode where they try to ask a psychic woman where a Sporix is, and then Ollie, because he's kind of a skeptic dude, tries to be like, "Hey, did you know that Amelia and I are in love?" Just to kind of catch it in an act. It's obviously like a bluff to like expose the psychic. And Zato's like, "Hey, I didn't know you two were together," and you're just like, "Dude, come on." But
They're not
but
together.
it's fine, you
Very
know.
oblivious.
It's fine. I mean, he's a fish out of water, but it's fish out of water jokes that work fine. You know, it's like Asuka from Abba Ranger, Abar Black. Like I really feel that like there's a way to do a fish out of water story in a way that's not so like get it, haha, he's not from this time period, so he doesn't know that that's not appropriate. But and they don't do that with they don't hammer that with Zato. You know what I mean?
Nathan's voicing when he gets
Yeah.
into another character is hilarious.
Very.
Okay.
Sorry, I just had to say that, but carry on.
That's all I had to say. That's it.
So Zato is a good character, and on the other side of it, he's flawed, right? Like he's not some perfect red where you talk about him being a mentor, you talk about him being a great leader, etc. He's all those things most definitely. He has the wisdom and all that. But he's flawed in that he has this secret he's been carrying around for most of the season about the real origin of the Sporix, and that doesn't come out into what actually happened with the Sporix until Ion comes around and says, like, "Oh yeah, by the way, he kind of screwed us." So that adds another layer of character to him that just doesn't exist in the past 6 or 7 reds or whatever. So I think that he has a lot going for that because, for one episode, he's not even the leader anymore. He gave that up to Ion, and he's just a regular member of the team, and Ion's the leader because Ion said, "Well, look, you betrayed us by not telling us the whole thing about the Sporix. So you are not fit to be the leader. I am fit to be the leader because I know more about these things than they do. So if it's a choice between me and them, I'll be the leader, and you just stay in the background now." But
But it didn't
Ion,
last long, but it's fine.
it didn't last long, but it didn't need to. The point was made, right? Like that he is flawed.
Yeah.
He has something to work out, and he had to kind of figure it out on his own, right? Like he didn't just say, "Oh, well, I'm not leader, so whatever." He went off and he was like, "I should be leader. It's my job. I was given this, but I messed up. I made a mistake. I shouldn't have done what I did, and I have to pay the price now, and this is the price I'm paying." So he goes through all the different stages of acceptance to come to the realization that, okay, I made the mistake, it happened, but now I have to deal with it and do better. And he does. He comes out stronger at the end.
Yep.
So I think Zyto is good. I don't know. I'm not gonna say if he's in my top 10 or top 15 or whatever just yet, because I want season 2 to finish it off. So
Yeah.
those are my thoughts on Red. I don't know if you want to add anything else, Anthony.
There are a couple times where I'm really liking his character. Like with the second episode, he's he's very like I said, he has his funny moments where like the episode where he was teaching them how to morph and stuff. When they actually got the morph right, he's looking over, he's like, "Oh, smooth, y'all did a good job." He's very
Yeah.
knowledgeable. He's like,
Well, I mean, he was trained to be a knight. He had to go through a training to do all this correctly. So he learned to teach by being the student for so long and becoming the master by the end. So it's really cool to see him doing that. And it's also really cool to me to actually have the Rangers be like, how do I morph? How does this work? Because it bugs me
right,
sometimes when they just know off the bat, like, kind
Yeah.
of, it's like they know their call, they know the entire stance, they know everything they have to do, and there's no question asked. It's not like, You know, like Zordon told
Yeah.
the original team, call out your dinosaur name and you'll morph, and they did it, and it worked.
There's only been a couple of times where they've done that, like with Ninja Storm, with them wondering how to do the morph in the first episode.
Well, Andros taught them as well in space. He said, "Look, you press 335, and you're the Space Rangers."
Well, to be fair, they
Well,
did that
actually,
in
in that
space.
episode, I think he just gave him the morpher thing and just let us rock it. But I guess they must have figured out how to do it.
Well, they kind of did it in that one episode of In Space when TJ lost his memory, and he's like, "Okay, how do I do this? I open this thing up, and I press like 3, 3, 5, activate." And then,
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only time I remember that happening in Sentai was in Jetman. I don't want to spoil that though, because we're going to be reviewing that on Toku Secret soon. But there is a point where in the early episodes the Rangers are wondering how to transform.
Mm-hmm.
It's just annoying how I was once watching an episode of Time Force with with my girlfriend. We were watching the first episode, well, second episode technically, and we get to the point where they all morph and how now everyone except Wes makes sense because they tried to use the chronomorphers before already. Plus, you could argue that maybe they saw Alex do it, but Wes just all of a sudden knows what to do, and she was looking at me and she's like, "How does the red one know what to do all of a sudden?" So, you know what I mean? So, but that's just minor point. Zayto's awesome.
Yeah. All right, pick a name out the hat.
Isn't Zayto's password? No. Isn't Zayto's password for his Zord control frequency? Wasn't that Zayto's awesome or Zayto's cool or something?
Yeah.
It was awesome.
That's his override
Yeah.
to take control from crap, what's the name of the dinosaur?
Zolon.
Solon, there you go. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, that's just to take it over from Solon. If Solon's not available, he can just call in the override command.
Yep.
Which is a really good utility because typically when the others call their Zords, it's like, we need dinosaur power now, or we need whatever Zords, and they appear, and you're always left wondering in some cases, how do the Zords know? There's that mystery sometimes, but in this case, okay, so Solon controls them. When Solon's not available, Zyto can just take control and do it himself.
Mm-hmm.
That's a nice detail.
One way out. Let's do Ollie next, the Blue Ranger. Okay. I like Ollie. First of all, I love his relationship with his mom, and his mom is awesome. That threat that she makes to Void Knight in the last episode, that was an awesome mom moment.
Oh yeah.
By the way, haven't you noticed that this is the second season we're only in the second season in the Hasbro. Both Hasbro era seasons have the Blue Ranger's mom as a prominent character. Because wasn't the Commander and Beast Morphers Robbie's mother?
Yes.
Okay. That was just a minor point, but anyway, I think first of all, I think Robbie is. I mean, he's the smart guy. I would probably say that he hasn't done as much. There's an episode where he's a little too dependent on technology, but we see that he's very effective in coming up with creative ways on how to kind of thinking outside of the box. I definitely like that. And we'll talk about this more when we get to Amelia, but I get the vibe that they might actually have a thing going because, they're the perfect people to work off each other because, she's obsessed with Ghost and he's a scientific dude, so they really work off each other pretty good.
Can I mention something real quick?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
What I'm about to say was that
What?
the whole thing with ghosts, it kind of bothers me because I mean it's been pretty much shown throughout the entire Ranger continuity that ghosts do exist in Power Rangers. It's just Ollie for some reason doesn't believe in them. I'm like, so you can believe in all this stuff with Power Rangers and whatnot, but the fact that ghosts exist, that's the redraw the line. Come on, man.
Hey, Anthony, your mic's acting up a bit.
Oh, it is. Hold on.
Sorry, guys.
While Anthony is fixing that, Ollie. I don't really know what much else to say. I mean, he's a pretty standard character.
I want to talk about Ollie real quick because I didn't like him as much as others might have. Anthony's mic is still broke.
It's still
I'll
broke.
be Anthony for the rest of the video.
Good job, Frankie.
Thanks, man.
How
Oh my god!
That's worse.
Sorry about these technical difficulties, everybody.
Sound's coming out of the microphone's asshole.
Anyway, so what I was gonna say is that Ollie, for me, he wasn't a great character. I mean, I liked his relationship with his mom. You sound better, Anthony. Good job.
Okay, good. I had to leave the call and then come back.
Yeah. So he definitely had some good points. Like, he was smart. He was a tech wizard. What I didn't like was his arrogance at times.
I can relate to that.
Because in the episode where he wants to go buy his new computer and all that stuff, like he goes out of his way to buy his mom a new computer without really thinking the consequences or anything, and he screws Javi because Javi is trying to interview somebody that knows more about the lightning storms that are going on, and Ollie's supposed to be talking to him, but instead he's so fixated on the computer and the tech and everything that he just
that did annoy me too. I'm not gonna lie to you.
That was really annoying.
Like it wasn't a good trait for him, and I didn't like him for it. Also, whenever Izzy is doing her episode about the electronics class, Ollie is like really condescending towards her and is like, "This is really easy. I don't know why you're having a hard time." Oh, they were in class together, weren't they?
No, it's just
or he just know about it.
In that episode, they were putting bombs all over the place, and Ollie, just because he's kind of a tech dude,
he offered to help her.
Just kind of quickly caught on to how the bomb would be disarmed. So that was
no, I meant whenever Ollie was teaching her, I thought he might have been in class with her, but no, that makes sense. He's just an expert, so he was.
No. He was just helping her because I think she was like failing a class or whatever, and he decided he was gonna tutor her or something.
No, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay, ignore that. But no, he was just so condescending about it. I mean, look, he might be older, he might have more experience working with electronics and circuitry, but coming from somebody who for 14 plus years has worked in and around electronics and circuit design and the stuff that she was doing in that episode, which, by the way, the concepts that they brought up in that episode are not just voodoo crap magic stuff. Those are real things that engineers do use in electrical engineering.
Mm-hmm.
And those are concepts that, they're after going through it and understanding them, they're straightforward, but in the moment of learning them, they're pretty damn hard to understand when you're first starting out. So it's kind of grating to see somebody who knows this stuff so well like he does. Just be so condescending, like, oh no, this is easy. You don't have to worry about it. And I don't know where you're failing. God, you're so stupid. Because I get that when you're an expert, you can kind of feel like it's easy, but it's almost as if he never struggled to learn to begin with. And that bugged me because nobody's a super expert at this kind of stuff from
Yeah.
before. Those aren't concepts that you just innately know. I mean, okay, you can know like math is something you can pick up easily in the beginning, like when you're doing it, but this stuff that she was doing, that's not easy stuff.
Yeah, I can kind of,
So
get on that. I mean, I used to, the more that you think about it, I mean, to give an example, I just finished, my school and, we were working on, there were a lot of people within my grade where, maybe I caught on to using some of the tech that we use, but not everybody did. And,
yeah.
I, but I understood that, sometimes not everybody can, get that stuff, and I'm not going to be a condescending jerk. And yeah, so I can say, looking at it from that perspective, I can see why you wouldn't like Ollie.
And then like the other thing, the reason it also kind of grates on me is that Rangers is kind of like a way to teach kids, good and bad. It always has been. Like when we grew up, Mighty Morphin was there to kind of be a role model to us. And having a role model like Ollie who's so condescending, like, oh, this is easy, that's just reinforcing to kids that it's okay that if you're kind of smart, to be a jerk to others who aren't smart.
Yeah, and it doesn't help how there's heart. Like maybe in the episode where he ignores Javi and tries to win that laptop for his mom, they do kind of portray him as being wrong. But in the bomb episode, they're trying to portray him as being like a really helpful dude that Izzy should look up to. Like they're not portraying him in a negative light, and that's kind of
No, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
they're not portraying him in a negative light, but he does do a lot of negative in that episode.
yeah, I know, but at least when he was doing the annoying thing in the
Yeah,
in the uh, storm episode, the even like the show wants you to not like him to do that.
exactly.
Like they
Yeah,
clearly want you to think that he's a good person in that bomb episode, even though he clearly isn't.
yeah,
So you know what I mean?
yeah, and I get it. But no, so I think Ollie, he's not a bad blue, but he's not a great blue. Because if you look at Billy or Ethan, who are also blue tech guys, they weren't condescending, they weren't arrogant, they were focused, and they were always willing to do the right thing at the right time to use their skills.
And like the only time I think Ethan was condescending was literally to the bully who was messing with him. So that was actually kind of like cool on their part to say, hey, like he can't have moments where he does talk trash, but
Yeah, but
that's
I
only
mean,
because someone was talking trash to
yeah,
him.
exactly. I'm okay with that. So that's my thoughts on Ollie. I don't know if you'll want to say anything more on him, but that's kind of my piece.
Well, we got three more Rangers to talk about, unless Anthony has something else he wants to say.
All right, Javi next.
I honestly,
Oh,
I
good.
honestly did not. Yeah, I actually I like Ollie. I did not have an issue with him. I like the fact that he was kind of a smart ass. And, I like relationship with his mom. Um, and I like the fact that he has good ideas, but the Rangers keep shooting him down for it. And it's like, especially in the second
That
episode, that really irritated me
that
was the
bugged me
fact
as
that
well.
I'm like, we have the tracker for the sports. Let's use this and combine it with our technology so we can actually track these things faster. And they're like, no, let's not do that. Why? It makes your job so much easier.
So there's that, and the other way, yeah, I didn't like how they treated him in that episode. But then the one that
Yeah, that
really
pissed me
kind of
off.
bugged me was the camping episode when
Yeah. Hmm.
he has all this cool tech. I mean, cool in the sense that it's cutting edge and it's fancy, and he is trying to cannibalize it to make a way back to help. And they just shoot him down like, no, you screw you, we don't want to do this.
It's not about technology. We're in camping. No technology. Like, bro, like you can still have some tech in camping. It's not
I
that
mean,
bad.
so on one hand, that was a lot of tech to bring camping, but on the other
Yeah.
hand, it was good timing and good placement to have that tech there so they could do what he did.
Hmm.
So I can see both ways that, yeah, he did bring too much equipment for a camping trip, but that's his life. He's a tech addict. He loves tech. He's going to bring all this tech stuff out to, you know, live and do his thing. So if he has the tech with him and he's like, oh, wait, by the way, guys, you don't have to walk 5 miles to get back to an area where you can teleport from. Let me just build a thing to shoot the thing down. Hear him out at least.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Can we say yes? I'm glad we finally got teleporting back because he's been absent for the longest time.
Mhm.
When was the last time I was teleporting?
In space.
Shoot, it was definitely in space.
No, it
Yeah.
wasn't.
Yeah, it
What?
was. In space the last time.
SPD?
SPD did not. They
No,
had vehicles and stuff.
they had vehicles to drive with.
Wow. Wow, you might be right.
Hmm.
All right, carry on.
Let's talk about Javi next.
Yep.
Um, Javi is just there for me. Now there is one thing I should mention. Apparently, I forgot to mention this. Apparently, Izzy calls their father. So their father is a recurring character. Apparently, she calls him her stepfather. So I guess that's her stepbrother. So I guess like he's the biological son of their father or something. I don't know.
Hmm.
But then that kind of begs the
Like
question, like,
he's Hobby's dad.
yeah, um, yeah, he's not my least favorite. We'll get to my least favorite in a second. Well, in a little bit. Uh, he's just boring to me. I mean, I guess I like, that he's trying to pursue like a career in music. And I think that, and, he kind of has to deal with like a dad who's kind of overbearing and everything. But I think the whole story of like Ranger having to deal with an overbearing father. I think Izzy is getting more of that focus, and Javi is just kind of left in the dark.
Yeah, that's definitely a problem. I mean, I love Izzy. Izzy's my girl, but Javi did suffer as a character because of Izzy kind of overshadowing him a lot.
Yeah,
Because honestly, I think Javi could be a great Ranger. I mean, he has a lot of cool things that they could do with him. But I think they focused a lot on Izzy, rightly so, but also they sort of given him more focus episodes as well. I mean, he had focus in the Christmas episode, and he had focus with the music stuff, but that wasn't a lot of focus, to be honest. I mean, compared to the others who had more focus, he didn't really get a lot.
Mhm. What do you think, Anthony?
like you said, he's just kind of just there. Like, I mean, sure, he has the whole thing with him liking music, but then like that's really all is to him. Like I'm sure there was that one episode where he thought that his sister liked some guy, but and they turned out to be wrong. But I mean, there's nothing much to him. I can't really say anything. Like, I mean, there's another episode where he was like upset because his dad like took his musical instrument away, even though he paid for it with his own money. I'm still mad at him for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a dick move.
Because apparently, from what I heard, that at one point the dad who was like kind of this warden at like this at I guess a park or whatever. He was supposed to be a cop. That's why they kind of portray him kind of like a cop like manner. But then the whole controversy was on with cops. And now they changed it like, oh, he's not a cop anymore. He's a warden. So Just spoof the thought. In case y'all wonder why he's like around a lot, thinking trying to like have this authority, but he doesn't really have authority. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, that's my thoughts on him because I don't have much to say about him.
Yeah, Javi is not someone that we can really talk about that much because he doesn't do that much.
Yeah. I agree with that. Do we want to move on to the next character, Nate?
Yeah, let's do Amelia next. Pink.
Okay.
Amelia is interesting. First of all, she has a really weird backstory that I really hope gets addressed more in season 2. So she lives with her grandpa, who she calls Pop Pop, which is cute.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's one episode where she meets her grandpa as the Pink Ranger. Like she's morphed and secret identities, blah blah blah. And he reveals to her that her parents just disappeared through like unexplained circumstances. Now, what's weird is that episode doesn't end with her wondering what happened to her parents, which I think sucks. But with that being said, I still think that it. I still think that she has an interesting backstory that I would love to see addressed more. And yeah, that as far as a character is, I mean, she's awesome. I mean, she's very pretty for the record. And yeah, I like her whole story of being like a paranormal enthusiast. And yeah, there's not much else. I just think she's awesome.
So I'm gonna throw my comments real quick. First regarding her family and her pop and the paranormal stuff, because it's all really well tied together, actually. And it might be a detail that you missed, Nate, but the reason she's so into the paranormal is that she's looking for a way to explain her parents' disappearance.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
So I think I don't think it's that she's not curious about where they are. I think she's super curious, and the grandfather's trying to keep her from exploring the paranormal as much because there's something there that he doesn't want her to find. But she's definitely interested. It's just she hasn't figured it out yet. So that's the first part of her that I want to touch on a little bit. The second, I get a huge Zoe vibe from her, and I love it. What do y'all like? Do y'all see
You
it
think
or?
so? Or you think so?
Yeah,
Not really.
I get a Zoe vibe. It's like she's energetic. She's a go-getter. She's determined, and she's happy. And I think those are all kind of qualities that Zoe had in Beast Morphers, and I liked it. I liked that character a lot in Beast Morphers. I think Amelia is an equally great character for the same reasons.
Mm-hmm.
The difference is that Zoe was more into proving her worth because she was just a laundry girl and she had to become a Yellow Ranger. But Amelia is more into the paranormal and trying to find her family, so that's where her focus is right now in the entirety of the thing. While being a ranger, and she finds that really cool. Like they both are really nerding out about the fact that they get to be rangers.
Well, I need to see more of Beast Morphers before I can comment on that. But
Oh, you haven't seen
if
Beast
that is
Morphers? I forget that.
if that's the case, then that is pretty cool.
Yeah, Zoe's an amazing character, and I see a lot of parallels between the two of them.
What do you think, Anthony?
I really like her character. The one thing that really stood out about her is the fact that like she acknowledges Power Rangers existed before she became a Ranger. That's what I like. And the fact that she was excited about like not only getting powers but also possibly getting a Zord, which of course
Yeah.
comes with the job.
Yeah.
I think in the episode where she was dealing with like her bad luck was actually one of her best episodes because
Yeah.
she was literally down herself because like, oh, maybe I'm not fit to be a Power Ranger because I broke my morpher, but she pulled through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
On to
anybody else
Nathan's
got
favorite
anything?
character.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ion, the Gold Ranger. Now, first of all, one positive thing about Ion, he is the first African American Sixth Ranger, which means that we can officially also make an all African American Dream Team of Power
Mm-hmm.
Rangers. So, we for Red, you can pick between Jack, TJ, or Devin. I go with TJ just because TJ is TJ.
You could also
Um,
pick between Zyto as well.
yeah, yeah. Uh, for Blue, I would go with. I think Ethan is the only option we got for Dino from Dino Thunder. Um, yeah, Ethan. Plus, Ethan's awesome. For Black, let's just go with Zach because he was the OG. Plus,
Hell
he was
yeah.
pretty awesome. For Yellow, I can't choose between Tanya and Katie, but I love Katie, so I'm gonna go with Katie from Time Force. For Pink, we only got one option. We have to go with Shelby from Dino Charge, and then there's Ion. So that is one positive thing. But as far as Ion is as a character, I do not. Okay, first of all, his voice is annoying. Like, he sounds like he is trying way too hard to put on an accent. Like, I can't even tell what he's saying half the time. Like, whenever he's calling a Zord or or just in the roll call, it's always like Moza Blas or something like that, which is just
Multiply. Multiply.
like
Uh,
there's Power
That's
Ranger
awesome.
characters that are kind of annoying, like at least with some Rangers that have like weird accents, like with and I don't want to say this because I don't want to be, I'm not trying to be offensive here, but it's like with uh like Carlos had a really heavy Latino accent in Turbo and in Space, but that's just his voice. Okay, he
Yeah.
can't help that. Same thing with that guy, the Black Ranger from Wild Force. I can't remember his name. Cue the whole "Who's
Danny.
Danny?"
His name is
Cue the
Danny,
whole
yeah.
"Who's Danny?" joke here. Um, Again, that's just his natural voice. I can't blame him for that. But with Ion, it sound like I don't think that that's his natural voice when he's talking, when he's calling out those attacks. It sounds like he is trying way too hard to put it on, and it just
Yeah.
sounds stupid. So, just want to get that out of the way.
Yeah. His I think his ADR needs some work.
Um,
I don't know if it's ADR. I think it's him actually trying to have an accent when he doesn't really have it.
I mean, I
And the
guess
fact
it
that
sounded.
the actor just not doing it for me. I'm sorry. I just can't really I can't explain it. He's just not I don't think
The
he's
what
a
is not doing it for
I
you?
don't think he's yeah, he's just not I don't think he's a really good actor, to be honest with you. Like not to like down talk him or whatever, but it's just he's just not giving me much emotion, you know what I'm saying?
Well,
Like,
so
really
it's not just that. This the character as he's written isn't good either to me. And part of it has to do with he's kind of a self-obsessed jackass. So he was quick to really say, okay, so he's right. He's right to call out Zyto on what happened on Rafcon. That's cool. That's fair.
Yeah.
Yes.
But to immediately go with, I'm the leader now. I mean, I get why he did it. I explained why he did it earlier when we talked about Zyto, and it's justified. But you got to have an ego to do that as well, and he has a huge ego there. And it gets worse when he is starting to go out and about with the Rangers. He's like, wait, they want us to come to this because we're going to get a thing. Oh, he wants to showboat a lot. He's all about the lore. He's all about the showboating. He wants to show off that, they're Rangers, and he wants to flex that that's cool or whatever. And I don't like that.
Neither do I.
He likes to flex at every opportunity he gets. And honestly, he doesn't evolve as a character ever. He doesn't like the Ion you get in the first episode he appears, and the Ion at the end of the Christmas episode. Zero change to him. There's nothing that ever changes about him.
I mean, to be fair, he comes into the show very late. Like, there's 22 episodes, 21 if you don't count the Christmas episode, and he comes in episode 15.
But like,
So-
That's late for a new Sixth Ranger debut.
Yeah,
not really. I mean, it used to be around
That
then
used,
in the
that
old
used
days.
to be the normal, but now it's like episode 9 they start showing up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
and by the way, his debut is like just horrible. Like, it's like there's no build up or anything. Like, it's just like something pops up out of the river, and then in the next scene when the Rangers are battling a monster, this Gold Ranger just comes out of nowhere.
He
Like,
comes out of nowhere, he doesn't go with them, and then he just appears in a command center like the next episode at the beginning.
yeah,
With no time for the Rangers to be like, I wonder who that was, and for Zyto to even say anything.
it's just terrible.
It wasn't handled well.
Yeah. It wasn't.
If I were to give a fault to Dino Fury, this would be one of the prime ones I would give.
Yeah, I agree.
Because to me, he's arrogant, he's a showboat, and so far he has had no redeemable character qualities that I like. What do y'all think?
Yeah. I honestly
Yeah, I
am
pretty
just
much
not
agree with
feeling Ion right now. Like at first when he was like coming on the scene to call Zedd on his BS, that actually was good. But then later on, just like he just seems too shy. And you wouldn't expect that from a sixth Ranger this early. Like, come on, like you were supposed to be like, you know, the cool sixth Ranger that comes in and like, helps everybody else see the world, blah blah blah. But
And see, like,
what do
part
you, what do you
of the interesting thing here is that you could stretch and call a parallel between Zyto and Ion and Andros and Zane in that they both lost their teams and they have a new team now. Ion was missing for all that time. Zane was missing for all that time. And Zane was in the pod, but Ion was in the lake. So there's a lot of parallels you can draw there. But where the parallels end is Ion's character. Like
yeah.
Zane's he's not humble. I mean, Zane's a great character, but he's also he likes adventure, he likes a little bit of showboating, but he's not to the same degree as Ion ever was.
Right.
I mean, what do y'all think? Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I think so.
No, that's very fair.
So I mean,
And the difference
when he
between
first came out, I thought, okay, cool, we're gonna get a Zane Andros kind of thing, but it failed.
and it's like what they could have would have done would actually would have been like very interesting was to have him and Zyto actually have beef for like the first few episodes. It's straight up like it's not you know settled in the first episode. He's like teaming up with them. No, he's like, no, I still don't forgive you for what you did, and I'm leaving. Bounce and just leaves and just does his own thing for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But for some apparent reason, the writers just like we can't have Rangers become conflicted with each other more than one episode. I'm just like, why? That we like Ranger teams don't always have to be all buddy buddy all the time. You can have
Yeah, I
conflict
mean,
sometimes. You don't
there
have to
could have been
just be
lots
like,
of
oh,
things
we'll
they
do it for
did.
one episode. Yeah. Hmm?
There could have been a lot of things they could have done with his character. Like they could have kept him separate for like a whole episode or two. Let him kind of
Yeah.
mysteriously appear here and there, kind of taunt them, whatever. But no, he just appeared because again, he wants to flex. He wants a showboat. So he wants to prove, oh, I know where they're hiding. I'm gonna go to their base right now. Hey guys, what's up? I'm here. Zyto, you're fired. I'm the new leader. Okay, thanks, bye.
And it's like, dude, like you would think that the guy that was telling Zito, hey, like maybe this is a good idea, he would be more cautious about doing stuff. But he's not. He's the exact opposite. How are you gonna tell somebody else to be cautious about doing an idea when you don't? When you clearly can't do it yourself.
Yeah.
It's a hypocrite.
Yeah. Nathan, you want to add
That's
anything?
just so
What was that?
annoying. Go ahead.
You say something, Riz?
I was gonna say, do you want to add anything else?
No, I just I I just hope that Ion can redeem himself in season 2. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And,
we've
and
gone
if
through
you're
all 6. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
and if you're listening to this Jordan fight, which you're probably not. That's his actor's name, by the way. Dude, I'm sure you're a nice guy and you're being a decent actor. Like, we don't hold anything against you with what's written in the script, but dude, just be yourself. Stop with the accent, please.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
You know, accents remind me of Eminem's album Relapse, and I don't want to remember that. Don't do this to
Oh
me.
my god.
Yeah.
Take it out, Frankie.
I'm just saying!
So there's a couple of things that I also want to talk about. Just, we've talked about the characters and villain dynamics. Now, there's a couple of other concepts. We'll talk about a few more concepts before we wrap this video up. The big thing is that this show gives a lot of personality to the morphing grid because, they create this concept of the Morphin Masters, and apparently the Morphin Masters created the Dino Fury Morphers. Well, one thing that stuck out to me is that there's an episode where the villains are going after the prism that gave the Ninja Steel Rangers their powers, and they actually, yeah, and Mick actually makes a cameo. Mick from Ninja Steel, played by Kelson Henderson, and apparently it's revealed that the Morphin Masters also created the Prism, as well as the Dino Fury Morphers. And that really stuck out to me because it's like, if they created the thing that gave the Dino Fury Rangers their powers, and they also created the Ninja Prism, what other things might these people have created? Now, I don't think we could say that they created the power coins because it's been revealed that Ninjor created those. So it might. So I don't know if you could say that.
So here's a fan theory I'm going to throw at you for that one because I've given this some thought.
Yeah.
I think the morphing grid is the morphing masters manifested.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, okay. Let me restate that because I said that wrong. The morphing grid is an entity, and the morphing masters is the manifestation of the morphing grid energy. And my thought process is that Ninzor specifically might have been a student of one of the Morphing Masters, and he learned the trade of the morphing a grid and created the power coins from that. And then later on created the ninja's powers from that. Now, in the other cases,
like maybe let's think the Zeo crystal.
I think the Zeo crystals is something that the Morphing Masters created, and just kind of put into the world. But I know that there's a comic that goes into more detail on the Zeo crystals, but I haven't read it yet.
That would be Mighty Morphin, which is like an NPR comic series they're doing.
Yeah. I know there's a huge expose on like how the Zeo crystals came to be and all that, but I'm not too familiar with the storyline just yet.
Some other things, maybe they created. Let me think. Maybe they created the Quasar Sabers
The
in Lost
Quasar
Galaxy.
Sabers, the Dino Gems, and Dino Thunder. I think
They did create
provided
the Dino Gems down there. They actually did confirm that.
I think they also provided the access for the Astromorpher, the Turbo Keys, and the Lightspeed Rescue powers to be created.
But did they create the Energems?
Yes.
That's a
Probably.
confirmed thing.
And maybe the power discs from Ninja Storm.
I don't know. I don't know if they created the disc itself, but yeah, I could see that being a possibility.
Well, I thought didn't Cam make those? I thought Cam made those.
Well, it's weird with Ninja Storm because it's like on one hand you think that Cam made those things, but on the other hand, like those discs were used to open up that thing that unlocked that ancient weapon, the Lightning Rift Blaster. So were the power discs like an ancient thing or something? I mean,
no, I think so. If you ask that question, and you also have to ask, how did Lightspeed make the Lightspeed morphers?
Well, Lightspeed was a military-funded thing,
right?
Yeah,
but
Miss Fairweather made all the tech.
So I think what happened is a lot of these. You can divide the Ranger powers through all the seasons into two categories. The first category are powers that are created directly by the Morphing Masters. So, for example,
the Power Coins, Zeo Crystal.
No, not the Power Coins. That was created by Ninzor, who I'm thinking is a student of them. But like the stuff, like the Nexus Prism, for example, the Dino Fury powers, etc. Those kind of things that there's not a clear answer to, and it's more mystical feeling. But then when you look at SPD, Time Force, Lightspeed Rescue, and maybe the Space Rangers, I think those are more, here's scientists and here's people who have studied the morphing grid from a science perspective, and they've created something to harness the energy into these powers. I think these are two different categories of how the powers are manifested.
Do you think maybe the Morphin Masters kind of like led the scientists and people who actually created the technological version of the powers?
I think
kind
so.
of like let them make stuff like, oh yeah, like point in the right direction.
Because look, Haley and Cam are both extremely smart individuals, so they have the capacity to create this stuff. But do you really think on their own they could have done it?
Right.
Then there's also go ahead, Anthony.
I know that Dr. Rowe, Oliver basically discovered the Energems and they destroyed that fell to Earth, millions of years ago. So it makes sense like where these gems come from. Like, oh, it came from the Morphin Masters because they put those the Dino Gems in that asteroid that landed on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So effectively, they kind of wanted dinosaurs to die, basically.
Well, this could also be an explanation for some other things because if you look at Power Ranger seasons, and two perfect examples I would give would be Power Rangers Wild Force and Power Rangers Mystic Force. In both of those seasons, the Rangers are successors for warriors that wielded like these ancient powers, but they weren't Power Rangers. Like never at any point in Wild Force when you see flashbacks of the original fight against the Orgs, you never see the ancient warriors. I think that's what they were called. Morph into Power Rangers, and same thing in Mystic Force. When you watch the flashbacks of the fights with the Master, they never morph into Power Rangers. Maybe this is like an example of like how the Morphin Masters like upgraded those powers to become Power Rangers in the present day, if that makes sense.
That's possible.
That could work.
Like maybe they like they still use the animal crystals and the mystic wands in Wild Force and Power Rangers, but maybe the Morphin Masters they created the Growlithones and they gave the wands the ability to transform into the Mystic Morphers, if that makes sense.
That's true, yeah. And then there's also that mystery of like who possessed the place I said was from all those years ago. That they were gonna make a story about that, but it never happened. So
Not every season perfectly meshes. Like Jungle Fury wouldn't mesh because RJ specifically says that there were never Power Rangers in Paishwa. He just knew a guy who knew a guy who knew a guy who knew a guy who hacked into the morphing grid. So
Okay, but did they ever state who the guy was?
no, it was
no, they
more like
don't.
How do you know that's not a morphing master disguised as a human that gave him the powers, or just a morphing master?
I'm just now getting that idea. Wow.
Wow.
This thing works on a lot of levels.
I mean, okay. I have a challenge for y'all. Name one power that can't be explained by the morphing masters in some way.
Can or can't?
That cannot be explained with morphing masters.
Mjolnir from Asgard.
Oh,
that's not.
You just said power. You didn't say from Power Rangers.
Okay. Okay.
Well, to be fair, he did appear in Power Rangers Overdrive, one of the worst seasons, but still, he's in there. So
all right, I'm sorry. The Force.
How do I force suck Frankie?
Actually, they did go to the Dagobah system and in space.
They did.
that's right.
Okay, guys, confirmed. Force is created by the morphing grid.
Oh, Jesus.
Or the morphing grid is the Force.
There's literally a filler episode of In Space where TJ is like, "Hey, Andros, me and Cassie are going to go check out a planet in the Dagobah system."
Yeah, it's a real thing.
We're going to go make out.
And also, in the episode where Zane first appears as the Silver Ranger, don't those things that the Rangers are fighting in those episodes look like Jawas?
They do! They do!
They do. They do.
Yeah, just wanted to point that out. So Power Rangers and Star Wars coexist.
You know,
oh my God,
where is Luke when you need him? Like,
right?
He could have helped
guys!
So many times.
I just opened a YouTube video for Silver Ranger's first scene in fight, and oh my God,
they do look like Jawas.
Let's not forget that freaking Andros can use the Force.
Also, they wear the Starship Trooper outfits in Lost Galaxy, so there's another crossover right there.
That's true.
Oh my God.
Well, that was a weird world collision.
Okay, So, literally, my favorite season of Rangers and my favorite franchise ever are possibly in the same universe.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
I don't like you right now, Frankie.
This is all my fault.
Yes.
But to go back to Riz's original question, the only one I could think of is maybe RPM, but do you count that because it's in a different continuity?
Well, okay.
It is and it isn't.
Well, so look at it from this point of view. You're assuming that the Morphin Grid only exists in the Prime universe and doesn't transcend to the other universes as well.
The thing is
they
that
created the energy.
in RPM, the thing that they would normally refer to as the morphing grid is usually Dr. K calls it the biofield.
I mean, does that really change the definition, though?
I guess not.
Because Dr. K doesn't have to know that it's called a Morphin Grid to know how to manifest and use the powers.
I guess that's a good point, yeah.
So the
That,
point I'm making is the Morphin Grid feasibly could be something that transcends all the multiverse of the Rangers. And it's just this thing, because think about it. How the heck did Megaforce all of a sudden just know?
There's a simple explanation for that.
Oh,
Get out. How did the Megaforce Rangers access RPM right off the bat? Like, the only explanation is that the Morphin Grid can transcend multiverse.
They could also transcend other franchises. They turned to Dire Ranger and Changeman, too.
Yeah.
Bring on new powers.
I mean, that's part of the multiverse, though. I mean, Dire Ranger and the others could have been from another universe. Like, you know.
Don't try to defend this. Stop.
I do know that
You're drunk. Give me your keys.
I do know that one of the teams that the Rangers transform into in Super Mega Force did briefly get adapted into the comics.
Yeah.
Actually two teams actually. It was a supersonic team, and I think
that was 5-man, wasn't it?
Yes.
It was 5-man. I think it was Bioman.
Wasn't it Bioman was the other one?
Bioman?
Yeah.
Bioman's in the comics?
Yeah.
That was Bioman.
So small spoiler in case anybody be warned out. I will tell you this right now.
They turned into Changeman.
Hang on, Frank.
Unlimited Comics. Astronomer kills them as a child.
Oh.
Oh, well
yeah.
then.
Yeah.
I don't remember them turning into Bioman and Super Mega Force, but
annihilated that team.
Maybe it was
the only
I'm thinking of.
They turned to Change. They turned into Changeman.
Talk first, though. Speaking
yeah, no, I think I said what I can say because yeah, she just annihilated that team. I think only 1 or 2 of them survived.
So the astronomer just encountered him and killed him?
Yeah, because they turned into they turned into Changeman, Maskman.
It was the order story.
Maskman, Flashman, and 5-man, and then Die Ranger. So it had to be one of those 5.
Okay, so hold on, Frankie. I heard all that, but I want to ask Anthony another question now. You said that was Astronomer's origin story?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna start reading his comics again.
Yeah. And the Supersonic team was actually a past team that actually involved one of the Psycho Rangers from the comics too.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So were the Psycho Rangers deformed to become Psycho Rangers and originally another Sentai suit?
So I'm guessing that might be the case because one of the Rangers was part of that team, and he turned and became like a Ranger in that team. So yeah, it's possible. So picture this: you're part of the team, but you don't feel like you're like you don't feel like you're like really feel like you're part of the team. So you betray your teammates, kill them, get them all killed. Orthodox Dark Spectre becomes like Ranger. And these were all about Trips people. The Zybrans, I think.
Whose people?
Trip from Time Force.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's find the comics and start reading them.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else, or do we want to move on to the other crossover?
No, I just think the idea of the Morphin Masters is just kind of a really fascinating idea, and I hope they expand upon it more.
Yeah.
I think they will, because Beast Morphers introduces the idea of the Morphin Grid as like a thing that's ubiquitous throughout. So I think they're going to start progressing more into the multiverse concept of Rangers in a way that Saban never could have, because they didn't have the balls for it.
And he was too cheap.
Yeah. So I want to talk about the next crossover, because that's one of my favorite things in the world. It's probably like one of the big last things we've got to talk about here. So
Yeah.
I'm going to rip the Band-Aid off. Lord Zedd comes back for an episode.
Yes.
And as you'll see in the Nickelodeon Rant podcast that we keep mentioning, I am very angry with Nickelodeon for making us wait so long to get that episode after the rest of the world had already seen it. And
oh yeah.
So when I first heard about Lord Zedd, I had a couple of concerns I had to deal with. The biggest being Robert Axelrod, may he rest in peace, died before this began. So the voice of Lord Zedd was not here to continue on, so his iconic voice is gone. So the concern was, will they find anyone menacing enough to be a suitable replacement to Lord Zedd? That's the first concern. The second concern is the Zordon wave turned him good. So how did he turn back to evil? That was the next question I had to answer with this episode. And then finally, what are they going to do with him? Is he just going to be like a one-off thing that appears and then dies, or what? So these are the three questions I kind of walked into the episode with.
Thinking, yeah.
So with regard to the voice, he's no Axelrod. But the job is done, and the job is done well, but not to the same level. I don't know. What do y'all think?
I didn't hate it, but I also am like, he's not Axelrod.
Well, it's not
No.
menacing. It's not as menacing as it was when we grew up. Like that voice was just not as like sinister.
Yeah, because I think the guy who voices him, I think it was Master Lope from freaking Jungle Fury who voices him.
Oh,
Yeah,
if that's the case, that's not good. I don't to be honest, I wasn't really paying too much attention to his voice. I was just more curious at like what they were going to do with him, and that was the big thing that disappointed, because like he's disappeared. Where is Lord Zedd now? Like, is he going to come back for season 2? I mean,
He should be a main villain at this point.
I think what's going to happen, Nate, is that. So to kind of go over the story of what Lord Zedd was in this episode, he was reanimated back to life by that guy. I don't remember his name.
one of the new Sporix monsters.
Right.
Maybe I don't know if he was a sports or not, but he was a monster. So yeah,
He was a monster. He came to give them the gift of Lord Zedd, and Lord Zedd was brought back. He had an obedience collar on, like how you see in Beast Morphers, and he was under control of this guy. And the Rangers free him, and Lord Zedd vanishes into the he vanishes as he's freed. So we don't know what happens to him as the Rangers continue battling Void Knight and his forces. So that's an open-ended question at the end of the episode: is where does he go from here? My thought is Void Knight's not really evil, right? Like he's just he's out here trying to get his wife / girlfriend / whatever lover resurrected or revived or revitalized or whatever. So maybe in season 2, Void Knight achieves the goal and they have a resolution of that early on enough that Lord Zedd can step in maybe a quarter of the way through and start being the villain again. And that's the conflict for the rest of the season. And I've heard rumors that they want to have this cast continue on after.
I doubt it.
I doubt they're going to do it, but it'd be interesting. But also, I would rather if Lord Zedd comes back, I would rather his storyline kind of continue beyond this, like beyond Dino Fury to like something bigger.
Well, I remember hearing a rumor that this was supposed to be the final incarnation of Power Rangers as we knew it. I don't know if that's still true, but I heard Hasbro was going to try to take the series in a different direction. So
I heard they're like delaying that, and they're going to be adapting another Sentai.
Yeah, so I guess it made sense when they were filming this to bring back the iconic original villain to kind of bookend everything.
Yeah.
I heard
Lord
that
Zedd-
Oger might be the next Sentai that will be adapted.
I hope so. I like that one.
Yeah, I know, but this random let's go Ninja, then we'll go back to Go Busters, and we'll go like 10 Sentais in the future, then we'll go back 3. It's weird. It's bothering me.
I know.
I mean, okay, is it really a big deal though? Because they're not connected. It only bugs you because you know the history of the Sentai and how it were before Go Busters happened. Like, I mean, before Beast Morphers.
Because they didn't get off track of skipping Sentai until Dino
Until
Charge.
Dino Charge, yeah. But it's not a bad thing per se. I mean, they're going back and they're using everything slowly over time. I mean, one day we're going to get a Ranger team or something, I guess. But
I highly doubt they'll do trains because like they claim trains won't really sell here in America. And I'm just
they're not wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's a much bigger thing in Japan.
I just want to say that the Lord Zedd return was just really disappointing for me. I hope that they do better, but yeah, that's another major fault of Dino Fury.
Yeah, that was another fault, is that it wasn't well done. But I will say that the potential they opened here is really good.
If I were to take a guess, he's probably going to be the main villain of season 2.
Possibly.
I think so, because I think Void Knight will be resolved pretty quick.
They didn't kill Zedd, did they?
No. He didn't. They barely fought him, Frankie. Like, he came in, he had the obedience collar on. They destroyed the obedience collar in a way to like try and get him away from their control. And Zedd decided, screw y'all, I'm out.
Peace.
Yeah.
Deuces.
I mean, basically that's what happened.
Okay, screw you guys. I'm going home.
He's in the universe somewhere doing something.
Yep. Maybe he'll go back to the moon and get his base back.
Mm-hmm.
I would actually kind of like that.
Serpentera 2.0, guys.
Could you... No, they can't, because Serpentera died to Wild Force Red.
That's why I said 2.0.
Yeah, you rebuild Serpentera.
Hold
You'll be
on,
like,
since when does that matter? The Falcon Zord showed back up at Ninja Steel.
It was never destroyed though.
But yeah,
It was never destroyed, Frankie.
It's irrelevant. It might as well be. It was gone
Okay,
for
no,
20
no.
years.
okay, but also think about it. The Morphin Grid restores powers. Why can't they restore Zords?
Bingo.
Mm.
But Serpentera is not as
Yeah, he's a Zord.
He's just not the traditional Zord that we know. It's just
Okay.
Zord's that's personal Zord.
ignorant question time. Because I don't know. Is there a counterpart to Serpentera in Sentai?
Yeah.
Yes.
Where?
Die
Ranger.
Die Ranger's from
Die
Die
Ranger.
Ranger.
Is there a villain?
Die
Zord, or-
Jinryu. He wasn't a Zord. He was a god.
Yeah.
What?
It was a living entity. It was a god.
And
Oh.
it wasn't evil. It was more like a neutral sort of thing that would
Yeah.
show up. Like, because there was a conflict between the Die Rangers and their villain, it kept showing up to try and end the conflict, but it was also really destructive, so it ended up kind of unintentionally hurting people, if that makes
And
sense.
killing people because I
It
mean
was-
I'm pretty much sure that all the damage they did.
Die
they definitely killed
Jinryu.
people.
It was super powerful.
Yeah, no one could beat it.
It appears 7 times in Die Rangers. All right.
He doesn't make a lot of appearances, but he's a big problem.
Right.
He killed one of the monsters too, I think.
Yeah, he crushes it.
Hmm. So you remember that episode of NPR with Rocky just wants to have fun? That's the monster that died from him.
Yeah, they
Yeah, but
edited. They had to edit it for the Thunder Megazord destroying it.
yeah. You know, speaking of Zords, I just kind of want to transition into this. This is the last subject I want to talk about Dino and regarding Dino Fury. I really like the Dino Fury Zords. You know, as you know, we can complain about how the dinosaur gimmick is getting old. It is. I'm not going to disagree with anybody here on that, but
Right.
I do think that dinosaur mechs are some of the most creative, though, and this one does a really good job. So, first of all, well, I think this one does a good job, at least.
I'm gonna disagree with you on this one.
Okay, that's fair enough. But you know, first of all, you know, so the way that this whole thing works is that the Red Ranger Zord has its own warrior mode, and then the Megazord is basically just the other Ranger Zords are like, you know, some cool add-ons. Kind of miss that, you know. I really like, you know, I like Zords having their own warrior mode that allows them to fight, you know, by themselves, you know, kind of like Go Buster Ace or whatever it was called in Beast Morphers, the Red Ranger Zord. So I like that. I think the Gold Ranger Zord is awesome. You know, a Mosasaurus. I can understand how some people would have issues with it, as far as you know, the dinosaur gimmick being just overused. Don't know if I would call it better than the Cure Uger / Dino Charge stuff, but I think it's just as good. The one thing I want to say is that this series has another weapon. It's called, I think, the Mega Fury Saber, which is what it's what the Rangers summoned like performing the finishing move. And can I just say this? Can we stop with all of these cockpit exclusive
I
things?
hate that so much.
I mean, let me just say this right now. Megaforce is terrible. I don't like Megaforce.
But at least they didn't have that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you got the Mega Mode in Samurai. You got whatever that thing was called in Dino Charge. I don't know what they did.
It was weird because Dino Charge didn't start with it. It just happened
No,
one
it
day.
didn't. it happened one day. They was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna give him like
Battery armor things.
yeah."
I don't know what they did in I don't know what they did in Ninja Steel, and I don't care.
Ninja Master mode. Apparently, I'm just like, why do they have a mode that's literally Ninja Master, but they're not masters?
In Beast Morphers, Devin summons this gun to like shoot. Like,
That's not as offensive.
No, it's not.
It's stupid.
I'm
But
just sick of all this cockpit exclusive stuff. Like, I get it, you're trying to sell toys, and you know what?
so just let him use the blaster against the monster. Just film American footage.
Like, I'm all for creating non-Sentai equipment. In fact, non-Sentai equipment back in the day was what made Power Rangers awesome, because, like from Lost Galaxy all the way to SPD, they were always creating vehicles that weren't in the Sentai. Like, pretty much every motorcycle was mostly...
Jungle Fury had one.
Yeah, I know. It was just from in a row from like Lost Galaxy to SPD.
Gotcha.
They created some other things like that, like Eric's TF Eagle from Time Force.
Battleizers.
Of course, Battleizers, duh. Cam's little, Dragon Force thing from
that
Ninja
thing was
Storm.
ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. But it was still cool. But so I'm all for non-Sentai equipment, but if you're only going to create non-Sentai equipment for the cockpits, just stop.
Like, what's the point of having a giant gun in a Megazord cockpit? What are you going to do with it? You're not going to shoot anything with it. Aside from in Samurai, I don't remember them using the cockpit items outside of the cockpits, aside from like the Shogun mode in Samurai.
Yeah, the Shogun mode was on there was used, and that samurai sword that they use in the cockpit was the only time he actually used it outside the Zord.
I hate everything.
It's just, I'm sick of all these cockpit exclusive things. And maybe that's a thing from Nickelodeon. I don't know. I mean, Nickelodeon, if you do that.
Well, part of the problem with that, I think, is because they have to stretch it out to 2 seasons. They need more things to fill out the toy line. So
yeah, I heard Dino Fury's getting a bike soon too.
Do they have motorcycles in Dino Fury?
They're gonna have.
they're gonna have them, and they're gonna have them in the show.
Do they have any in Rhea Soldier?
I don't think so.
No.
Oh, then that'll be a first in a while.
Yeah,
like give them motorcycles.
Yeah, Hasbro has this thing where everything that they're making in the toy line they want in the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the backpacks from Beast Morphers, for some reason.
What do you think, Riz?
I think he died because he muted himself.
Yeah.
I don't have as many opinions on the Zords ever, really. I don't really... So the cockpit stuff doesn't bug me, I guess, as much as it bugs y'all. So, I mean, okay, I understand that, yeah, it's a weapon that's only usable in the cockpit, but it is what it is, and it doesn't really bother me as much, so... Yeah,
the mode change bothered me more than the weapons did.
They both bother me equally.
Yeah,
because why do I need
the
another
mode change is fine. I mean, I guess the not having a mode change is fine. It still just bugs me.
Yeah, because I'm like, why do we need another form just to use the Megazord? Like, no other team has needed this in past seasons. Why now? Like, we're not good enough to use our normal forms to pop these things?
Mm-hmm.
Because we have to sell toys, Anthony.
I don't give.
Don't you understand?
Oh, I wish I could cuss right now, but I'm not going to.
Power Rangers is made to sell toys. That's why it exists.
I don't give a flip. Keisha? Stop.
Don't do this to me.
I just want to say this one other thing. I'm all for them creating original cockpits. because I think the only two Sentai's seasons that we've had where they've used the Sentai cockpit, they used it in Megaforce as well as Super Megaforce. Pretty sure they used it in Beast Morphers, although they did.
For the most part, it was the Go
For the most
Busters
part,
one.
there
and Beast
was
Wars,
like maybe 2 instances where they didn't have the footage. They did one for the Beast X King Zord. That was exclusively American footage because they didn't use any Sentai footage for that.
I'm all
And
for
Devin's
creating
little blaster.
original cockpits, but am I the only one who thinks that they're kind of all looking like
they've been the same since Dino Charge.
same? Like,
Yeah.
like they're all standing they're all standing on like these pods with their colors. They're all using their swords to control the Zords. Like, I don't know. I mean,
They've all been the same since Dino
Yeah.
Charge.
can't we get a more like, really awesome looking cockpit? Like, I don't know, the Max Solar Zord from Lightspeed Rescue was pretty cool, and that, of course, was original.
That
'cause it
was really good.
So, yeah, can't we just get more creative with the cockpit designs? And
They say no.
okay, well, screw them then.
I mean,
like,
I
we
agree
can-
with
we
you, but they say no.
It's like we can recreate suits from past seasons, fine. But as far as Megazord cockpits go and originality, we
Aren't
can't
the
do
cockpits
that.
in Sentai like CGI now too? Like the
I
Zenkai
know
one looks like it's in CGI.
Zenkaiger is CGI, but I think the past ones weren't. I know Kira Major wasn't.
Anyway,
I'm looking at the Rhea Soldier cockpit, and I could just say that I probably prefer that to Dino Fury.
isn't it like this weird
But-
mirror thing?
Yeah,
It's like
I don't know. But, we're just talking about trivial stuff now. I mean, obviously, the cockpit exclusive stuff is annoying, and it's kind of getting annoying how they're using repetitive designs for the cockpits. But let's not distract that. Let's not let that distract us from the fact that it's still an enjoyable season.
yeah.
Do you have
Yeah.
anything else you want to talk about, Riz?
I think we've covered everything of like super importance here.
The theme song sucks.
Oh, okay. There is one thing I want to talk about now that Frankie brought that up. Okay, so when it first debuted, everyone lost their minds about the morphing sequence, saying it was one of the best morphing sequences they've ever seen. And I didn't really watch Dino Fury like every week like everyone else did, so I saw it like the one time on YouTube, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." But then as I watched it throughout the season, I gotta say, it may not be the best morphing sequence, but it's a really, really cool morphing sequence nonetheless. And that song is
I like the
fire.
music.
That
I
song
like the
is
music
fire.
for it.
Yeah.
It's very techno-y, and it does it. Dun, 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 dun,
Well, the Morpher in general, I know that this is only from the Sentai, but the Morpher in general of like, taking the silver part and like rotating it, that's a pretty creative type of Morpher. So I definitely like that. Not so much about Ion's Morpher, because it's just a gun that you just put something in and you shoot it. Gee, just like your user.
And that's
But
literally his morpher in the Sentai too. It's not like they gave him like that. Oh, well, here's your morpher's this instead of this. No, it's the same.
Oh, like a Ninja Steel, where instead of a burger, he had like a weird sword thing.
yeah.
Yeah. His morpher was weird though. I was like, what is this? It didn't even look like the rest of their morphers. I know comparing how they morph in the Sentai, how they morph in the series, they do still do the silver part that flips up. The difference is that whenever when the researchers insert their keys, the keys of whatever ranger they have would actually appear as like a CGI little tribe, and they do a dance called Boss Sweet, so, and they all dance until they transform.
Wait, they dance?
Yeah.
What is with Super Sentai and dancing?
No,
Wait.
they don't dance, but the little soldiers that the little key dance pop up, and they multiply and they dance around the re-soldier.
There's still dancing involved.
Yeah.
Okay, Cure
Just,
User.
just not the part of the just not the them themselves dancing. It's just there's dancing involved, but not with the main people transforming. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I'll agree with Frankie. I'm not a big fan of the theme song, although in general, Hasbro doesn't really seem to be doing much with the theme song because we're now at the point where the theme songs are only like 30 seconds long.
Because Beast Morphers wasn't that great either.
No,
they're
it
hardly
wasn't.
putting effort into the theme songs anymore, which sucks because, but what are you going to do about it?
Especially when you compare them to the Sentai themes. Sentai themes are generally a lot better.
Yeah.
I mean, that's about all I wanted to talk about. Riz?
That's all I got because I don't know anything about this show.
I have nothing else to really bring up. Frankie, what do you think of the review, though? Would you want to watch Dino Fury based off of this?
Yeah. I did not mean for that to be a pun. F in the chat, boys. I got a very different Power Rangers opinion than you guys, but that's not an appropriate discussion.
Well, I can understand where Frankie is coming from because, to be fair, I was a little adverse to watching Dino Fury as well because I've been turned off of watching Power Rangers since like Ninja Steel just because Ninja Steel just kind of like blew it off. Same way that Ninja kind of blew me off of Sentai for a bit.
Yeah, I've been so out of touch with this franchise for years now.
So I can understand where Frankie is coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I was just kind of curious on, never having watched Dino Fury and hearing us talk about it for like the last, hour and a half?
Try 2.
2 hours?
Wow.
Half of that was tangents about Star Wars and other stupid nonsense.
It wasn't Star Wars.
There was Star Wars.
For like 5 minutes.
Listen here.
Anyway. Yeah, I thought it'd be kind of cool, but if not, I mean, I get it, Frankie. I know where you're coming from, and I understand. I think the reason I still watch this stuff is...
Do podcasts, of course.
Well... Not true. I didn't do anything with Ninja Steel. I watched that because of my own suffering.
I watched that and I still suffered for nothing.
But so the reason I watched Ninja Steel honestly was because of the crossover. Beast Morphers, I was curious about how Hasbro handled the franchise, and I liked it enough to say, okay, I'll give it another chance for Dino Fury. And Dino Fury kind of, it's good. I liked it.
I am curious what the next series is going to be.
Well,
Yeah, me too.
that's the question. Is I think season 2 will take a different tone altogether. So Netflix doesn't own it anymore. I mean, Nickelodeon doesn't own it. Sorry,
Yeah, it's going straight to Netflix, right?
Right.
Straight to
so,
Netflix.
Are they going to drop all 20 episodes at once, or are they going to do it in chunks? How are they going to do it?
I don't know. But so
We might be getting like maybe 12 episodes probably during the spring, and then probably gonna release the next next episodes afterwards. Probably like later on fall maybe, but we'll get like at least a good amount of episodes to keep us busy.
Well, so here's the thing about that. They're done. Those episodes are done. They're ready.
Oh, they're filmed. They're ready to go, yeah.
Yeah.
So the only thing holding them back is a schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And with Nickelodeon, the schedule was, and I've gone over this in the past future video that we're going to release. But I'll say it again here briefly. It was season 1, do the first couple of episodes, break. Couple of episodes, break for the summer. Come back, finish it, break again. And then don't do anything with it until after Europe and the rest of the world has seen season 2.
I think that was part of why the ratings started to decline too.
Well, I mean, why would you watch on Nickelodeon if I can go on Twitter and find a link?
I remember
for people to watch it?
years and years ago, back when we were actually on YouTube and stuff, and we did the Mega Force reviews 4 months before they aired here in the US or something.
Yes, we did.
Mm-hmm.
That was insane.
And I mean, it wasn't hard. I mean, it's if you're following anyone on Twitter from the fandom, those links are running rampant all over the place.
Oh,
So, I mean, am I gonna be honor bound to the fact that I want to wait for the American release when they're so easily available online? No.
Nope.
No.
I mean, if it's anything else where I'm like,
Last year, I remember Riz, Anthony, Patrick, and we reviewed the Beast Morphers episode where the whole team up thing where Jason comes back and the Dino team up episode.
Oh, Grid Connection.
Yeah. We reviewed that, and then several months later, I see all these Power Ranger sites posting that episode as if it just came out, and fans are talking about it, and I'm like, my friends and I reviewed this episode 5 months ago. Why is everybody talking about it as if it just now? And then it hits me oh yeah, that's right, because Nickelodeon is stupid and they like to air everything in other countries before they bring it here.
pretty much. It sucks.
Yeah.
It's just stupid.
It was. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand why would you do it like that? Why would you kill the franchise? If you weren't interested in it and all you wanted to do is make more SpongeBob episodes, you didn't have to get the rights to this.
Right.
Nope. You could have passed. Nickelodeon, not Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network could have taken it. Disney could have taken it back. Somebody would have taken it.
You could have just given it to Netflix right away, but
Yeah, I'm glad Disney didn't get it back, but
Well, Disney didn't care about the franchise either.
No, but they would have at least tried.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's gone to Netflix after RPM.
I guess better late than never.
Yeah, because imagine if it gone to Netflix, we would have had a much better Legendary War.
Well, probably would have had a bigger budget.
Yeah. But I think we're gonna have a better budget now because I think Hasbro has the money to bring this franchise around. And
Hasbro is loaded.
Yeah.
yeah, but I think they're willing to put money into this. They are putting money into this. They're creating lore that we didn't have before.
The fact that they care more about the franchise than the original creators of the franchise do is scary. Hasbro seems to care more than Saban ever did.
Well, Saban saw one of the earlier Sentai's when he was on vacation, and he liked it, and he's like, well, I'm going to bring this to America, and he tried several times. He finally did it, and I think he cared for a while, because, look, Mighty Morphin was not bad.
Mighty Morphin was a huge success.
Mighty Morphin was good, Zeo was good, everything was going fine, up until, I guess, after the in-space stuff, because that's when ratings started to drop a little bit.
Not Lost Galaxy.
Well, no, it was the ratings were hit a little bit during Turbo, but they still kept the show going.
They went back up within space.
And they probably hit their peak in Lost Galaxy.
Yeah, Lost Galaxy was the highest rated series at the time.
I'll be honest, I didn't watch Lightspeed Rescue until I was an adult.
I think Wild Force is where it started to...
I don't blame them, because that's a bad season.
The Disney season's ratings were horrible.
But they were good. But the problem is...
The show was good, but the ratings were just awful.
Because the time slots were horrible.
Yeah.
Let's air RPM at 5 a.m., guys.
Yeah.
Let's air Jungle Fury at 9 p.m. when kids are about to go to bed on a Monday night.
Oh my god, I remember that. That was
Ooh.
so irritating because I didn't watch the first few episodes of Jungle Fury until like after the episode aired that day.
I
Are you
mean, I
kidding me?
guess their logic was people have DVR, they'll just watch it later. Well, that's not going to give you ratings now, is it, you stupid jerk-offs?
I mean, so I didn't watch any of this as it aired. Like after
A lot of people
After
probably saw
watch-
them on Netflix.
yeah, I watched a lot of this on Netflix. I only watched Dino Thunder on TV because I just happened to flip to the channel on the first time that they aired Dino Thunder on Disney, and I was like, "Wait, that's Jason David Frank. What's going on here?"
Dino Thunder was the only Disney series I watched fully on TV.
Same.
I know
And
I watched.
Oh, SPD. I watched full of SPD too.
Yeah, I watched SPD.
Same here.
Yeah, I watched SPD.
Mystic
Which in,
Force
hi-
Forward
which in
Mystic Force.
hindsight, I don't care for it. I'll be honest with you.
Mystic Force. I did watch O Live too, but I was like,
that
ugh.
Overdrive is just...
Ugh.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not going to talk about this right now because we have to go to bed soon.
Yeah, it's 3 a.m.
Okay,
To kind of
so
get back to the overall subject, Dino Fury is here. Well, it's been here for a while. And there's some good and there's some bad. There's some ugly elements. There's a comic relief duo in the show as well, who we're not going to talk about. It's Jane, who's like the leader of who's like the boss of Amelia.
She's the boss.
Yeah, and this character named Jayborg, who's like Mac's sister. She was made by Hartford Robotics. She's an android.
Are you...
Yeah, Frankie. Yeah.
Yes.
Apparently, Mac has a sister
Yes.
now.
yes,
Because unfortunately, Power Rangers is still going, and maybe this is just a Nickelodeon.
I muted my
thing.
mic because I screamed out a curse word.
I don't know. They just need a comic relief duo, like they had, Bulk and Spike and Samurai. They weren't really a duo, but they were still there. They had Mr. Brimley and that Ernie dude from Megaforce, Victor and Monty from Ninja Steel. They
why
had.
do you remind me that they exist?
I just unfortunately do.
I hate Victor and Monty so much.
It was
Same.
This is why I've considered doing cocaine.
It was Ben and Betty from Beast Morphers, who I really hate because the actress who plays Betty is amazing, and
She's fine.
oh yeah, she's hot. She is too good for that role.
I watched the first 2 episodes of Beast Morphers, and those 2 turned the show off for me.
She is too good for that role.
Mm-hmm.
She's a good actress. She's a really good actress, and also a really cool influencer on Instagram and social media. Like
She is too good to be playing a comic relief character on Power Rangers.
she could have had a much
Right.
better role, but that's
Now
not
we
even
got Jane and Jayborg, and they're both terrible. And we don't really have to talk about them that much.
okay, so they're not. I prefer them to most of the ones that you mentioned here.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying they're terrible. Just
Like
They're not funny.
The
They're
only
not funny.
the only ones they're not funny at all. But I prefer seeing them than I did Victor and Monty, and I prefer seeing them than I would like the Megaforce comic relief or anything like.
but
The only other
Jayborg's
one-
voice is just grating.
Well, it's a
It's like-
robot.
I know, but it just gets really annoying. Like it's like that really bad Eddie Murphy movie, Pluto Nash, like Randy Quaid's character. Like, where are we going, boss? Where did the boss go?
You did not just mention Pluto Nash.
Yes, I did.
Oh my god, I'm about to do heroin.
And it's the same thing with like Jayborg's voice. Like, hello, I am a robot. Where are we going, boss? Like,
So that's your whole shtick. You're just a robot. Okay.
yeah.
Oh, she's not just a robot. She's a robot that can get into hijinks and they basically abuse her body because it's funny because she's a robot, right?
Oh,
Right?
off.
Yeah. Yeah, that happens.
Uh,
Well, anyway, we should probably wrap this up because it's pretty
I'll wrap it
long.
up. I'll wrap it up and
Yeah.
say they're not the best comedy duo. They're not the worst. They're eh.
They're the worst to
They're-
me, but okay.
You think they're worse than Victor and Monty?
Oh no, they're
I re-
terrible. No,
I
they're all
regret
terrible.
all of my life choices.
No, they're all terrible.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Mm.
If it's the choice between Victor and Monty and these two, I'll take these two any day. But yeah, I'm gonna get my final thoughts here so we can wrap this up though.
Yeah.
So, final thoughts on this. Dino Fury is giving a good promise overall that the franchise is not dead and that there's a chance that it's becoming something worthwhile again. Yes, we had, in my opinion, two characters that need improvement for the next season. And there's a lot of open-ended questions that I have more that I want to know about, like specifically the Morphin Masters. I want to know more about what happens to Lord Zedd, and I have some hope because these two topics alone excite me. Like I like what they're doing for the individual season, but the world building we're getting in the background is exciting to me, especially if we start tying into stuff from the comics that Anthony's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
for season 1 of Dino Fury, I'm gonna give this a solid B plus. Um, it's not the best thing out there, but it's definitely not bad.
Yeah, I agree. I think B plus is a reasonable grade.
Okay. Who wants to go next?
Anthony?
Like overall, I like the show. A couple of grievances I have with the show. I think it was towards the finale, and it it's something that's not like terrible, but it's kind of just like, how can they not see it? Like you'll get when I talk about it. Outside of this, because I don't want to spoil anything for everybody. Well, the finale at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, that about wraps up this video. Now, the next one that will be unless anybody else has anything to say.
Nope.
No?
Carry on,
Okay.
Nate.
The next video that will be posted is a Gokaiger review, but the next time we come back to record, we'll be returning to our Gokaiger series. We'll be taking a look at episodes 28 through 38. Now the next one that the next one that's going to be posted is going to be on Gokaiger's episodes 11 through 16. Hope
Yep.
you guys will check that out. But yeah, we hope you guys have enjoyed this. It's been a little unfocused, but it's still been pretty fun. And we hope if you haven't seen Dino Fury, you'll definitely check it out.
I feel targeted.
Okay.
Thanks to Frankie for making a random appearance tonight.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
of course. It's always great to have Frankie around.
Right.
Yay!
Anyway, we hope you guys enjoyed this. We thank you for checking this out. If you're on YouTube, please like this video and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Leave a comment down below if you want anything for us, if you want us to cover anything. Also, be sure to check us out at animesecrets.org and all of our social medias. Like, check us out on Spotify, check us out on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, all those social media things.